Hey, listener, what's up? Thanks for pressing play. We got a weird, crazy show for you this week as we cover such topics as the Photoshop fail of the new Tomb Raider poster, details of the new Terminator movie, the music of Justice League, Warner Brothers rethinking this whole shared universe thing, and the trailer for Marvel's Punisher on Netflix, and a whole bunch more. Plus, you'll get our thoughts on the premiere episodes of Star Trek Discovery and most of Season 3 of Game of Thrones. Boy, we go from Harry Knowles to Hugh Hefner on this wacky ride that is the Jock and Nerd Weekly for Friday, September 29th, 2017.
Check. Check one. All right. This is for all you fans out there. Let's give it up. We jockin', we nerdin'. We funny, disturbing. We jockin', we nerdin'. We spoiler alert. Oh yeah. We jockin', we nerdin'. We funny, disturbing. Oh yeah. I'm jockin', we nerdin'. We spoiler alert. Give it up one time.
Ah, yes. Welcome, listener, to the majestic King's Landing. Welcome to the Jock and Nerd Podcast for your weekly Geek Fest, where we're giving you comic book and superhero-related news, reviews, and interviews, now with more Game of Thrones. Jock and Nerd in 2017. My name is Imran.
My name's Anthony.
He's the Jock.
He's a nerd.
And joining us, he's felty, he's furry. Sometimes his language is slurry. His name is Rugberto
so
Bambino, but we call him Rug Boy. What's up, Rugs?
What's up, motherfuckers? I'm back.
What's the problem, Anthony?
So that was terrible.
Yeah, that was pretty
you're,
bad.
You're a little.
You're off your game.
I'm in a weird mood.
What's going on?
You're finally acting like a 45-year-old man should act, like just bad dad humor.
Oh, all right. So I'm just showing my age. Please, how's everybody doing?
No, but
Welcome to the
usually
show.
you act like way older. But now you're acting like just cornball.
Okay, so I've actually aged it down a little. I'm trying to get younger. I'm trying to get younger. It's
You
all
still
I'm really
look like
confused
shit.
at this point.
I don't know.
You
what's
still look
going
like
on.
shit is what all it
Listen,
what it
if
comes
you're
down
a
to.
first-time listener, you're also probably confused. Don't be. This is all harmless. We won't bite hard. Here's what we do here. On this show, listener, we're going to give you some geek news. We got some trailers, some posters, a couple of really interesting topics. And then we're going to talk about some television. We're going to give you Star Trek Discovery and a little bit of Game of Thrones talk. And I got a lot of reviews from our listeners. I got a lot of listener comments. It's going to be great. I'm in a really weird mood, fellas.
Okay.
Okay.
All right.
Just keep that in mind.
Your period came.
Maybe.
Yeah, what does a weird mood for Imran mean?
A weird mood means like I'm anxious, but I'm also excited. And
For what? Why are you anxious?
My nipples are hard. Geek boner. I have that also.
What are you anxious about?
I don't
Because
know.
InHumans is on currently, and you want to watch that instead of do the show?
Yeah, that's true.
Well, I think it better not be that.
I want to hate watch
God.
that. I'm excited to hate watch that. But before we get to the news, I want to tell the new listener, check out our last show because it was hilarious. It's a series we do here called What the Fuck Happened, where we take a high-profile comic book bomb of the movie, and our buddy Matt Delhauer expertly recaps said bomb of a movie. And we were talking about 2003's Daredevil. And
I have a couple of bones to pick with you guys.
oh, really?
Nah, not really.
Okay.
But first of all, Delhauer is he has such joy in ripping apart these movies.
Yes, he does.
You could tell he's like really enjoying it. But the thing is like you guys are ripping on the fucking soundtrack.
Yes.
And I'm like, of that metal, I'm like, that was fucking awesome for its time. Like it's maybe it's dated, but I mean, it's not like the Chad Kroger song. Okay, you're right about that. But it's Nickelback before even anybody hated Nickelback. But so it was like, it's right now to look back at it and go, that was fucking shit music. But Evanescence is still cool to me. I'm sorry, I still think it's cool, like music.
Ooh, you might be alone in that one.
No, I like Amy Lee's voice. I'm sorry, like I think she's actually a good singer, and so I'm gonna do. Maybe it's because it's Christian music it's got that stigma, but I don't know.
It's just a great time capsule of that
I'm
era.
happy that Evanescence. I heard Evanescence in my life. I don't know. I thought it was cool. I really don't think it. I think it brought something to me. I think actually. I don't know.
Fuck
It
Nickelback,
woke you
though.
up inside.
It-
Which is
yeah.
fine.
A little bit. The rapping I didn't like. The rapping of the other
See?
guy
Yeah.
I don't like. But I like her singing to the metal. I think that's awesome. There's a band called Lacuna Coil that's Italian.
Yeah.
And they do that shit too, but like they do it just as good as Lacuna Coil, I think.
It's just a nice time capsule of the thing.
Yeah, it is dated, but I mean,
it dates the movie.
It's not like it's terrible.
Look, but our show, because every time I edit these What the Fuck Happens, I'm always like, this is somebody's favorite movie. Like, somebody likes this movie, and I'm always like, boy.
Oh, I hate the movie. I hate the fucking movie.
So, @Verum Veritas on Twitter tweeted right away when we posted the thing on Twitter. He goes, "Call me crazy, I like this movie." And then a little bit later on, he replies again. He goes, "In hindsight and listening to the recap, the movie I remember is not the same as the actual movie. I know it was bad, but damn." So, we're bringing things to light. We changed his mind on that. So,
it wasn't the worst comic book movie ever made, but it's definitely a misfire.
Yeah, they just didn't know. They didn't know.
It's one of those movies like we talked about that it's not bad production or anything. It's just they didn't know how to make a good comic book movie yet.
It had to be made to move on and make things better. Check that out. Last episode. Everything's in the show notes. And then one more quick announcement. Guys, listener, I signed us up to this thing, this campaign.
What'd you sign us up for?
It's called 2 Pods a Day. It's very cool.
If we're making 2 podcasts a day, I'm out.
No, we're not making 2 podcasts a day, although I can see how you would think that from the name. Here's the deal. This campaign's called #2pods_a_day, and what it does is tries to introduce podcast listeners to 2 independent podcasts every day in the month of October. So it's a great way to give indie podcasts a lot of visibility. You're going to find out about some shows you may not have heard of. And it just encourages you guys to listen to more indie. So follow us on Twitter @JockandNerdcast and our Facebook page. I'll be retweeting all the 2 pods a day. I don't know what day will be up. And I'll have links to everything in the show notes of this episode, jockandnerd.com/188. And it's all run by this guy, Josh Hallmark, who I met as part of these Facebook groups.
Now, you don't care which podcast that you're advertising. You haven't vetted them at all or anything.
Well, everyone signs up. And
That's a no, by the way. By the way he answered it.
No, listen, to be part of this, I had to review 3 podcasts that he sent me.
Okay.
So everyone who's part of it is peer reviewing 3 other podcasts. So I don't know all of them, but the guy, look, he's done this a bunch of times. Every other month he's been doing this. You get a lot of impressions when it comes out. People retweet it. Check for the #2pods_a_day. I think it's great. Look, we indie podcasters got to stick together. How else are we going to get some attention battling against the fucking fat Kevin Smiths of the podcast?
I have so much to say, but that would start hating on a good thing, so I'm going to not say
It's a positive thing, Anthony.
I just wanted to point out that Imran signs up for shit that doesn't even know what it is.
I know what it is. I hang out in these podcast groups on Facebook, and it's kind of fun. Like all these there's a lot of independent podcasters helping each other. That's all. Listen more. Listen, indie. Let's get to the news, you goddamn negative Nancy's.
The Jock and Nerd Podcast.
It's gonna be Imran Pylon Day.
Bring it on, motherfuckers. And listener, this is
You're
what
in
you
a
should
funky
do.
mood, so we got to do it.
Yeah, that's fine. I'll take it.
We know that you're wounded. You're not at your top of your game right now.
I submit. Listen, if you want to get in touch with us, visit our website,
You're like
jockandnerd.com.
Theon Greyjoy getting tortured over at the...
Just wait.
Yeah.
Just wait.
somewhere.
Just
'Cause
wait.
I don't think you know where he's being tortured right
No,
now.
but just wait till where I got to. What they did to him was horrible.
Yes.
It made me uncomfortable. The show makes me uncomfortable at times.
Anybody feel like having a sausage dinner?
No, wait. That's later in the show. jockandnerd.com/contact for our Twitter, our Facebook group, our email, all the fun stuff, and show notes at /188. Also, all the ways you can listen. We're on every available podcast platform. So let's start with the news that another pervy geek blogger goes down, everybody.
Shit.
This time, it's Harry Knowles.
The King Kong of all bloggers, I think.
From Ain't It Cool News, the guy's been, that website's been around since the late 90s. It's one of the earliest geek websites I would go to.
He broke Godzilla.
Oh, he did?
He's the one who broke the first images of Godzilla. That's why I remember it, because I was hunting for Godzilla images, and he had the first ones, the first official, shot of what the new American 1998 piece of shit Godzilla was going to look like.
That's really not a big deal. I broke Godzilla last year at G-Fest, so it's not that hard. Anybody
just
can break,
did it. Yeah.
Anyone can break Godzilla. Apparently, it's very fragile.
So anyway, if you don't know who Harry Knowles is, this dude started a website about movies out of his basement or something, and through the years, it became the place to get scoops.
Yep.
And he started this whole scoop thing. Now, Devin Faraci, all of these guys that write about movies started their own websites from leaping off of his pages and blogging on his site. So a lot of these guys are all interconnected. So it's just kind of weird that Devin Faraci went down, and you know the whole story, Imran. They basically they fired him, and then they hired him back secretly, and then it's like this whole movie blogger is about like as misogynistic as it gets.
Yeah, surprisingly misogynistic.
It's a weird good old boys club of movie bloggers.
I guess it is. From Bleeding Cool, here's a little bit of information. 3 more women have come forward with sexual assault or sexual harassment allegations directed at Ain't Cool News founder Harry Knowles. They joined 2 other women who have previously made similar allegations against Knowles in the past week. Knowles has previously denied all the allegations. According to a new report from IndieWriter's Kate Erbland, who also broke the original story, 3 more women have spoken out with sexual assault claims. One woman claims that Knowles, quote, touched my ass, my thighs, a little grab as I was walking by, unquote, on multiple occasions, including at a Halloween party, and once offered to put her name on a list for Captain America screening at an Alamo Drafthouse Theater, quote, if I gave him a kiss. And this article I will put in the show notes has all these tweets from women that have been sexually harassed by him. There's one image where he was just unprovoked sending direct messages to this girl saying, your eyeliner makes you look good enough to eat. Obviously, I'm talking cannibalism, baby. You can have my Vienna sausage anytime.
Yeah, like those are like the lamest. That's the lamest game I've ever heard. First of all, yeah, that's terrible. I mean, like sometimes it's like Hugh Hefner just died. All right,
right.
And you know he was like this crazy person, and then everybody wants to point out like that he was a womanizer. And then, like, Harry Knowles is out. I mean, I feel like that. Like, if you are a famous dude, you treat women like shit. Like, I think that's what happens.
I think
right?
the
like,
power...
if you have any kind of power, that's the first thing that you abuse, isn't it?
Yeah,
like, I don't know. It just seems like
gets to him.
Like alpha males have this behavior, like jocks, like not Anthony, but like because he's like a woke jock.
Yeah,
but like
he's like
normal
the geek
jocks.
jock.
They like fucking treat women like garbage, and they treat them like objects, and they slap their ass and shit like that, and say kind of like I'm gonna fuck you with the ass. Like they say things to their face
they
that you
grab
wouldn't
them by the pussy.
Yeah, that you would never, and like a beta would never even think to do. So like that's brash, like alpha male behavior, like frat boy behavior, like to treat women like that. So I think
Harry
that
Knowles, like,
yeah, so I'm saying this beta all of a sudden gets power, and then he's an alpha in his own way now, and he starts trying to be like that. But an alpha male who's like a frat guy or a jock is like this tall built dude, and he's like this fat, ugly redhead, like looking like the Mask, like Rocky Dennis dude. And it's disgusting to when women, like, it's even more disgusting that this ugly guy is trying to fawn over them. It's crazy. It's just weird. It's
I hate the.
Am I speaking the truth?
Oh,
here,
yeah, you're definitely getting at something. I would just point out Hugh Hefner and Harry Knowles never need to be spoken in the same conversation ever again.
Not even just saying, like, what do you expect Hugh Hefner to do? He's a fucking multimillionaire that owns everything. Women are going to be doing somersaults to do whatever, to please him. Right. It's not like it's incumbent upon him to abuse that power in a way. I don't know.
Yeah, but then I feel like Harry Knowles
he has to, but I'm just saying that like he will.
Harry Knowles just thought he was like a gatekeeper to these screenings and these things, and a lot of these things happen at the Alamo Drafthouse events, and it says here the guy who owns it, Tim League, knew about this, and he told them just to avoid Knowles.
A lot of the wokeness, as Rugboy puts it, which I like, in terms of
he's the woke jock.
Abusive language to women has been relatively recent. So prior to maybe, I don't know, 5, 6, 7 years ago, I think a lot of people talked to women differently or weren't called out on the way they talk to women like they are now.
Yeah. It was like free reign.
Right.
Like it was like open season on women. Like, I mean, like it's weird to say like people like all of a sudden acknowledging this when it's been around forever. But like, it's crazy.
Well, I mean, I think the Trump thing also brought that up when you got a president now gets caught talking like, people talk. And then all of a sudden it's like, wait a minute.
You want to know what the thing that blows my mind the most is? I'm going on a tangent here.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. But
he hasn't been on the show in a while.
yeah, I have a lot of.
He's got a lot
What he wants to
of
talk
coffee
about.
chest.
This is the first thing he wanted to talk about.
I'm just saying that. And you derailed me now. I don't know what the fuck to say. You fuck! You destroyed me. No, I'm.
Take a deep breath.
God damn it! I fucking forgot what I was gonna say. Now I had a thought. It's gone.
Well, look, in the wake of this news, several Ain't It Cool news contributors have quit the website, and Knowles has said he's taking a break to focus on shit.
I read the article. I didn't know he was Alamo Draft House, which is the same as Faraci and all these guys. These guys being two, but Alamo.
So
that's coincidental.
That guy Tim League, who runs the Alamo Draft House, he quietly rehired Devin Faraci.
Right. No, I know about that
which
too.
Which is
and then that got exposed, and Devin Faraci promptly resigned.
I want to just point out, like, kind of, this is what I forgot. I just wanted to point out the irony of this.
Yeah,
is that the behavior that these alpha male jock frat boys or whatever you want to call it exhibit is assholey. It's misogynistic, but they end up getting the most girls. So what does that tell us about us as a society? That, that people act like that. And everybody says it's negative behavior, but they're the ones that get the most women. I keep hearing that nobody likes this, but then I'm like, well, why are they getting all the girls then? So it's just weird.
I'm not touching that question.
Because it's so loaded. It's the most loaded thing. Like, it's the most loaded question
there is no good answer that's going to come out of that.
There really isn't. My question is, who's next? Who's the next geek blogger?
I guarantee you, if women would stop dating these guys, they would cut that shit out immediately.
Because this is the world we live in now, where you
don't get it. I'm like, don't date those guys. Just fucking give them the finger, and then go date a nice guy. There's plenty of them.
Yeah, but the Harry Knowles thing is different because they weren't dating.
He wasn't nice. He
was just
we
being
were all
a
over
fucking
on this
creep.
I think Harry Knowles was just the gateway to Rug Boy spewing out his rant.
Yeah, I have a lot of hate right now.
You had a lot of things on your mind there. You compared Harry Knowles to Hugh Hefner, and then you went on a why do girls date assholes rant.
Rug Boy's coming from a dark place.
I'm trying to figure this out because I'm an old man.
Yeah.
And I've been trying to ponder this for a long time, and I'm like, well, Harry Knowles is a fucking ugly dude who never would have gotten laid if he wasn't successful. Then he got successful, and he acted like every other asshole instead of being a beta and going, hey, I understand what it's like to be, and not be one of those guys. Those guys are assholes, but then they become that. It just feels like it's very ironic.
Guys are pigs. What are you gonna do?
Power corrupts. Absolutely.
Absolute power corrupts.
Absolutely.
There you go.
Okay, moving on.
Speaking of looking at shit.
Look, yes.
That's weird.
Let's look at some weird shit from Tomb Raider. The new reboot, where we're already in a time and place where they're rebooting a video game movie. I don't think nobody's done that yet, right? This is like the first video game movie reboot. Starring... No? What's another one?
Street Fighter.
But they didn't reboot that recently. They just had a series of movies.
No, they didn't. They rebooted. There was the Street Fighter with Jean-Claude Van Damme.
Okay.
And there was a Street Fighter movie that had nothing to do with it with Kristen Crook.
Okay. I'm incorrect.
Chun-Li.
I am right. To be corrected.
He's tried to revive the franchise.
Another revival. Yes.
It was one of the worst movies I've ever seen in my life. But it is a reboot of a video game.
Let me just step in here for a second, because the reason for this Tomb Raider reboot is because they actually rebooted her in the video game.
That's right. They kind of changed her look.
I did not know.
They went to flat-chested Tomb Raider.
Yeah,
that's what they did.
She's not dressing all sexy in the new Tomb Raider, like the short shorts and the tight stuff.
They wanted to promote a more athletic, like actual gymnast type figure, someone who's athletic, not somebody like Angelina Jolie.
Who just had a huge rack.
If you watch the first Tomb Raider, you remember that scene at the end of Tomb Raider where everything's exploding and she's running away?
Yeah.
And her tits are just like bouncing every direction. I
Mesmerizing.
defy you to look that up right now on YouTube and just watch how fucking insane that is.
It will put you in a trance.
Yeah,
it's mesmerizing.
It is fucking hypnotic.
So that's why she was great in that first version, on the first version of Tomb Raider. I mean, she looked great.
No, it was inappropriate.
I mean,
completely
I'm saying
inappropriate.
she looked great as
she
Laura
looked like
Croft.
what the video game was.
Yes.
To a degree.
This time we have Alicia Vikander. I don't know if she's Indian, but that's definitely an Indian last name.
No.
Vikander. Come on.
I think it's like Nordic.
I had a cab driver named Vikander. Maybe it's Nordic. She's not Indian. Anyways, we have a trailer and a poster. First of all, did you guys watch the trailer?
Yeah, I watched the trailer. It looks okay.
What'd you think? Yeah, I thought it was all right.
I mean,
I've not
if
watched
you've played the Tomb Raider video game, it's very drawn from that video game.
the new rebooted version of the game.
Yes, which is an amazing game, by the way.
Is it better than what it was originally?
I feel like it's. If you've ever played Drake's Uncharted,
Yes.
I think that Drake's Uncharted is a parallel. It's like I don't know which came first, whether it was Drake's or Tomb Raider. But I think Drake's Uncharted. I think Tomb Raider came first as far as the series. Then Drake's like up the ante and did their own game. Like basically did a male version of Tomb Raider, and then they saw that and they're like, "Fuck you! You're not doing that."
They're like, this should be.
And then they went and they came out with a game that was like Drake's Uncharted, but with Tomb Raider in it. And it just like kind of like it's been back and forth between these two games.
Well, that's good. Like one thing informs the other, and they both push each other. Yeah, the trailer was all right, but yeah, it wasn't because I haven't played the new version, and I was like, this isn't what I remember Tomb Raider being. But it was okay. What they gave us though, in this poster is another entry into what the fuck what are you doing with the Photoshop Photoshop fail
hot.
poster. She's hot. Look, and the pose
I'm not looking
is
at the poster. I'm looking at the trailer as we speak.
Okay, in the video, yeah. The poster is your typical main character looking back over their shoulder that we see everywhere now. Marvel does this all the
that
time.
is
The
also
back of the character.
typical pose for female heroines, which is
It's a typical pose for everything these
they
days.
They like
It's
doing
not-
it for
first of all,
females.
it's not a great ass shot. It's more to show off the muscles in the arm, I think. And I think that the original thing was that it was the head was just facing, so you couldn't see the face at all.
Okay, so
and they put the face on the profile.
If you haven't seen this picture, this image, listener, it will be in the show notes, shockanerd.com/188. To me, there's two glaring errors. Anthony, to the untrained eye, to just the regular person, do you see anything wrong with this poster?
Yeah, she's got a obscenely thick neck, thicker neck than the rest of her body.
Thick and long giraffe neck. Which does not work if you were to picture the skeletal structure underlying her flesh and her muscles. It's a little fucked up.
You can clearly see the previous head. If you look behind the first head, there's the outline of the actual head where it's supposed to be.
Oh, you see the other head. This is some bad Photoshop. Also, just in terms of perspective, like you see the other side of her eye, like you see her other eye, you would never see the other side. You wouldn't see that much of her face if she was actually standing looking back.
Yeah, you can't really do that. If you do that, it's just so unnatural. You could probably do it, but it would be so hard to hold for a photo.
It would look like you're straining. You wouldn't see that much of the
Part
profile.
of it is
it's
also
all
a digital painting. If you look at the shirt, it's digitally painted.
It's really bad.
It's like a combination of all kinds of stuff that just doesn't work. If you don't know Alicia Vikander, she was in that
Ex Machina.
Yes, Ex Machina. She was the cyborg in that.
The trailer was pretty good. I just watched it while you guys were talking about this poster.
Not bad.
I liked it.
Yeah, I think it's gonna be.
Still looks like Tomb Raider to me.
It's just like Tomb Raider. With the original Tomb Raider was like this girl that was, proportioned like basically like a Playboy playmate.
Right. Yeah.
And now it's more like an athletic chick.
Chick wearing a little bit more appropriate clothing, not the short shorts.
Right. Not the ridiculous. In the trailer, there's a tomb, there's some rating. It fits.
Great analysis by Imran.
She's doing her thing. She got a bow and arrow.
It's more like a survival. Actually, the Tomb Raider game is more like a survival game. And then basically, after you survive enough for a long enough period of time, you start exploring things because you're crash landed on this place And while you're there, you might as well get some clues.
Well, I like that they showed her like trying to fix puzzles and figure out, kind of like a Rubik's Cube kind of puzzly thing, whatever that was. So there's definitely, you got to have the puzzle
this movie's good. I'm hoping it's good. The poster's terrible. I don't know who's photoshopping this shit. I would not fucking ever let this shit slide if I was an art director. I would immediately fire someone.
What is the first game, Rug Boy, first movie that you think of based on a video game that's been good?
Yeah, see, there hasn't been one yet.
The first movie? Silent Hill.
Silent Hill? I've never seen it.
Oh, I see. I never saw that.
It was good?
I love the game. The game was scary.
I mean, not good, but it was okay.
Is there anything that's ever stuck out to you and been like, man, they actually did a really good job and that's a legit movie?
No, I mean, like...
They always fuck it up.
Yeah, that's weird. I mean, Assassin's Creed was the latest one. I heard that was horrible.
Assassin's Creed was just not a good movie. It was just, I mean, it wasn't a dumpster fire by any means. It was just...
Why can't they adapt a video game into a movie and make it actually well?
I don't know. Like, I thought that Prince of Persia wasn't as bad as everybody made it out to be. I feel like it was like, okay, a little bit of a misfire, but like at the end of the day, it was still a movie. It was an adventure, and it did what the game did. And even though Jake Gyllenhaal wasn't Arabic, he still looked like the guy in the game. Like, if you put a picture of Jake Gyllenhaal and the guy in the game, they both look the same.
I remember it looked a lot like the game, which was neat, but so does Assassin's Creed, and that didn't work either.
Assassin's Creed was like, I don't know, it was devoid of any joy. There wasn't any fun in that movie at all. It was like so dour.
You would think Tomb Raider could do it.
Colorless.
Like, this should be like the Indiana Jones adventure movies that, we haven't gotten in a while. Could this be the first good, really good video game movie?
Look, there's a lot of things going on with Tomb Raider. First of all, she's a very intelligent hero. She's a heroine. She's she's this person that is doing basically everything that the men can do better. All right, so she's like Indiana Jones, but better than Indiana Jones. All right, she's more acrobatic. She can kick more ass. She more youthful, more relatable. So she could actually take what Indiana Jones is and bring it to the people. Now, if they make a Drake's Uncharted movie, which is people are going to say that's Indiana Jones.
That's Indiana Jones.
So like Tomb Raider has the luxury of being like Lara Croft and having that kind of the name recognition and that brand recognition from being around the video game, being legitimate for such a long time. Yeah. So I don't know. I think that this is another female hero movie.
Absolutely. And she's got 2 guns in the trailer, which is always awesome.
Oh,
I like seeing
she's going to be John Wooing.
Yeah. You need the 2 guns.
Fucking
listen, if you played this game, there's some fucking serious shit in this game. It's actually a very good game. So.
I bet. Do you get a bow and arrow in the game? Like you shoot?
You get bows and arrows. You get machine guns. You get all kinds of shit. You have to solve puzzles. You fuck people up big time. You light them on fire.
That's awesome. Great. That's Tomb Raider. Maybe it will be good. Coming soon. I don't know when it's coming out. I don't care because here's what's coming out is another Terminator movie.
Oh, shit.
That nobody wants.
This thing got fast track. Here's the quick details. James Cameron producing, Arnold Schwarzenegger, Linda Hamilton confirmed returning with Tim Miller directing for Terminator 6, which they're saying is a true sequel to T2. They're ignoring 3 through 5, the movies that Cameron had no involvement with. They want to pull a Star Wars and do a Force Awakens, start a new trilogy with bringing the old characters, introduce new characters, get 3 more movies. This movie just got a release date, July 26, 2019. Now, David Goyer is also in the writing room with them. And Arnold Schwarzenegger is 70. Linda Hamilton is 61. Guys, what do you think? At first, I thought this is just cash grab.
David Goyer being in the writing room is nothing because fucking Cameron will cock slap him immediately.
Oh, yeah. Cameron will keep it. Absolutely.
This is my first thought is that it's going to be de-aging like a la like what do you call it? Civil War, where they de-age Robert Downey Jr. They're going to de-age the fuck out of everybody digitally. And, Cameron's going to work his magic. I don't know if it's necessary. I just think that this movie is not needed. I feel like Cameron, he's getting up there in his age, and his legacy is like he invented like one of the coolest movies of all time, the coolest concepts of all time, the Terminator. and he's seen it getting fucked up by all these other people and not him. And I think before he checks out, he wants to at least set it right back on course. It's not necessary. He shouldn't do it. I don't even know how this is going to turn out. It might be a complete fucking misfire, but like, this is the third time I said misfire. But like, I feel like he wants to do it for himself. I think it's his property. He wants to steer it in the right direction. I don't know how it's going to go. I have no idea.
I'm as big a Terminator fan as anybody. I was super hyped for when Salvation came out, and that was terrible. I was as hyped for the last one that came out, and that one wasn't very good either. I think Terminator should have ended after T2. I don't think this is necessary at all.
If anybody knows what's going to happen in Terminator to do it right, it's going to be James Cameron.
Well, it would be, but James Cameron also has an interview out where he basically said this last Terminator movie, before it came out, was the best Terminator film since his films, and it was worth watching and is a worthy sequel. And we all saw how awful.
He said that about Genesis?
Yeah, but he also gets pocket money.
He does,
from that.
but he also publicly said something that he probably knew in his heart of hearts wasn't true.
Oh, he definitely knew it sucked.
He definitely knew it
He definitely knew.
Yes.
He was just like patting his wallet.
Yeah, I know that.
So,
but like when you're trusting that guy, I don't think he's done anything all that great in a long time.
It's not show fun, Anthony. It's show business. All right, so that's Cameron just clearly fucking shilling.
I mean, he's making 5 Avatar movies, or supposedly, and 4 or whatever, and no one here is even asking for that.
Yeah, no one cares about. No one wants this movie. He wants this movie.
Okay, I can actually argue the counterpoint to this, because at first I was like, oh, this is a cash grab. But then the more I started reading, there's a great article on Hollywood Reporter. The more I started thinking about this, I'm excited, because what we have always wanted, as I'm a huge Terminator fan, is you wanted a true sequel to T2. James Cameron was not involved with any of those movies. The rights of this movie bounced around from studio. Yes.
Why did you want a sequel to T2?
Because you want to see
T2 ends in a way that
it closes the loop, doesn't it?
It closes the loop.
Closes the loop. Look, but if they want to give us more Terminator movies, I want them to continue that. And I think with Tim Miller and Blur Studios, they could do a lot of exciting things. Now, this is what I think they should do. Instead of the de-aging and all that shit, it should be about this Terminator. They modeled it after an actual person at some point. Who is that guy? What's his deal? Why did they pick him? Could it be that Arnold plays the aging person they actually used the DNA to model this Terminator against? Linda Hamilton can now pass the torch down to a younger fighter and give her all her experience. And you don't have to do any of that de-aging crap. If anyone could do it, it'll be Cameron, because he does care. And like you said, that's precisely why I'm excited that he's producing, because he does care and he's not going to put out something shit.
That's what I think. Before he checks out, he wants to set this shit right. And like, just so he can know he can go onto the next world knowing that the fucking Terminator shit was sealed up.
You think he's just doing this so that he can get back with Linda Hamilton?
No.
He's like, she's starting to get in shape again. Rekindle an old flame.
So it's what, Arnold and Linda, if they're not bringing back?
What was that thing about Linda Hamilton? Did she appear on that show, the Terminator show?
On the Sarah Connor Chronicles?
Yeah, did she show up on that?
Oh, I don't know. Was she ever a part of that? I don't remember.
No, I just remember, like, when's the last time we saw Linda Hamilton? Like, we saw her somewhere.
I
gotta Google
The Defenders.
it.
No, that was Sigourney Weaver.
That was Sigourney Weaver.
I gotta Google it.
Wrong female heroine. That
I remember that she showed up in some kind of pop culture thing that I was watching.
One of the writers, and they got used to write on Sarah Connor Chronicles, and I think I got excited the more I thought about this, because I would love to see that story I just said. Why Arnold? What's his deal? What happens afterwards? Erase all those 3 shitty movies. But
the movie I always wanted to see, and they tried to do it with Salvation, except they didn't, is how John Connor became this prophet, this Messiah, and they fucked that up. So I'm done with Terminator.
Yeah.
Oh, she was in Chuck.
Chuck, the TV show?
Yeah, the TV show
that
Chuck.
was like a while ago. That was a long time ago.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. And she was in Defiance also.
Oh, in Defiance.
That, like, sci-fi series.
Yeah, I watched that one season. That's right, she was in there. But look, yeah, they're old. Who wants to see an old ass Terminator? It is kind of weird, but if anyone can do it,
Movie Bob has a nice. I don't know it off the top of my head, but he has a nice.
What's his take?
He has a nice like reboot idea for the Terminator series, where it's like making the humans bad or something. I forgot the exact storyline, but it was like, oh, that might kind of work.
And that's the thing.
Like totally flipping it on its head.
The only thing that could work is like an amazing script and concept. Like that's the only thing that's going to save this. Otherwise, it's gonna fucking fall flat. Now, as we said, what's James Cameron busy doing? He is shooting 4 Avatar sequels. They went into production earlier this week with a reported budget that exceeds $1 billion.
Oh, shit.
And there's like, they've got pictures of a young cast. There's going to be a bunch of kids there. And they're shooting 2 and 3 together. And then they're going to shoot 3 and 4 together. So then they go.
I think we've talked about this,
crazy.
but Avatar has like a weird spot in cinema history. It's started the re-evolution of 3D.
Yes.
But that's gone away. Like no one now likes 3D
it's
anymore
still the
again.
highest grossing film worldwide.
But no one talks about
No.
Avatar.
No.
Like it's not a pop culture thing.
Yes.
It hasn't lived in pop culture like everything else he's done.
So this is a guy that's doubling down on this thing with $1 billion, making something nobody really wants or asks for or even kind of remembers.
But everyone was like entertained by it,
Yeah.
but then everyone forgot about it.
Yeah. Yeah, it is very weird. It's
Because
revolutionary.
too much time has passed
Yes.
since the last one. That's
I mean, in
why.
terms of special effects,
Well,
it was something.
They're doing the Blade Runner, and everyone still talks about Blade Runner. And that's been a long time since Tron was another thing that everyone talked about, and there's a long time between sequels.
Well, I don't know about Tron. I would say Blade
Maybe
Runner.
Tron was more cult thing.
Yeah, I would say
Cult
Blade
following.
Runner is like if you were into like cyberpunk, like that was the movie you had to watch.
Yes.
Like Matrix, Blade Runner, like those are the two.
I heard that's getting really good reviews. And then again, you got an aging Harrison Ford, coming back, trying to connect the past and usher in a new era of this franchise or whatever it's going to be. That's kind of what I want to see them do with the Terminator. That would be cool.
See, we're already not talking about Avatar.
I know. You already went back. Fuck Avatar. It's got a whole fucking land now and a theme park and a ride.
Like, what else is there to discover, though? I mean, I'm sure there's a lot.
Yeah.
But it I don't know. I felt like the story was there.
What if Anthony? What if James Cameron blows your mind and just comes up with some really cool shit that you're like, oh, I can't wait to see what happens next.
Well, he did that with Avatar. I was like, whoa,
And then
this
nothing
is crazy.
happened.
But then nothing happened.
Well, I mean, the thing that's going to come out of this is everyone's looking at what new technology he's going to bring that they can
You know
all
what
use.
it is
That's
about
all it
Avatar
is.
that I'm thinking about that people don't latch onto
Yeah.
or never. There's not a character in there that you're like all gung ho about. It's literally just the world.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's just like
You
a
don't
world
latch
building.
onto any, but yeah, but there's no like characters that you're like, I want to see that person's next adventure,
Right.
or that guy, that
Yeah.
villain is super charismatic.
And, I mean, the story is derivative
Everything
of a bunch
is just
of things.
visually like pleasing.
You're just like,
there's nothing where you're
whoa.
like, man, I want to see Sarah Connor go again. I want to see Ellen Ripley. I want to see
No.
the
I
guy
don't
from
remember
Blade
their
Runner.
names. Stephen Lang was the bad guy.
Well, it was also that era when like Sam Worthington was the lead, and is that era when they were trying to make Aussies all the fucking next big action stars.
Yeah, I mean, you're right.
Jai
There's-
Courtney,
yeah.
Sam Worthington,
Yeah,
that
that's-
era.
That didn't help. It's weird. It's very
Right?
weird. Amazing 3D experience, and he pushed that technology, but someone's giving him $1 billion plus because they think this is a good idea.
And it made the most money ever.
Yeah,
so
we
of
just
course.
gotta wait and see what happens.
Yeah.
We can't really comment on this shit because we have no idea what Cameron's hiding up his sleeve.
Yeah.
We have no idea. It could be a complete shit show.
We're gonna have to wait till like 2019,
I think it'll
2020.
be good. It just I don't know if it'll be memorable.
Like, I feel like James Cameron, he was always a prick, but like now he's old and he doesn't give a fuck.
Oh no, he doesn't.
He doesn't give a fuck anymore. Like he will throw someone right out on their ass if he doesn't like what's going on. So,
Speaking of not
of
giving
not
a
giving
Boyer,
a
better
fuck,
watch out.
yeah, he in this Hollywood Reporter interview,
Oh, no.
he doubles down on his Wonder Woman critique. Here, right away, they asked him, You recently said this summer's film Gal Gadot was playing an objectified icon, and he goes, yes, I'll stand by that. I mean, she was Miss Israel, and she was wearing kind of a bustier costume that was very form-fitting. She's absolutely drop-dead
costume.
You want to know? But you want to know something?
Yeah.
Yeah. You can continue to like quote what he said.
Yeah.
But basically, if you nutshell it, he's saying like he did this shit like 20 years ago, and he did Ripley and fucking Sarah Connor,
Yes.
and they were like, Wonder Woman is a great movie, but they don't touch those two characters. Those two characters were characters that did shit that men would do and lead better than men.
I'll agree. While Wonder Woman, while impactful to the female audience, absolutely, the character of Sarah Connor is truly groundbreaking.
In T2.
In T2, she's groundbreaking. The character of Ellen Ripley is groundbreaking. That's what's called groundbreaking. So I agree. I just think people got really offended really quickly over what he said. He's like, look, it's a good
because
movie.
He said that you can't be beautiful and powerful at the same time.
Yeah, that's
part was
debate. That's
The
like a
step
fucking
backward
weird
part
statement.
was
But
weird.
like,
I don't know why.
but
Yeah.
I understand why he's saying it because he's like, what the fuck? I just gave this to everyone and they forgot about this.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that's bitter. That's being bitter.
Well,
That's not something that you.
It is bitter, but I'm like, if you did this shit first, and then someone else comes along and gets all the accolades, like they fucking reinvented the wheel, aren't you going to be like a little bitter?
You could be bitter,
When
but you can also not put it
Anthony,
that way.
no one was doing this shit before he did it. Really, no one was putting like Ripley in Aliens 2 as the fucking hero, the heroine of the movie, like that kills the fucking queen in a fucking metal fucking mech and fucking saying badass shit. She was the first like real badass female like lead in a big action blockbuster. Like no one was doing that shit. And so like in a post Cameron world, you can do it. Just because Marvel or DC finally got off their ass and made a female superhero movie, we're supposed to fucking throw a parade. That's like I understand his bitterness. At the same time, I don't like what he said. Like, because you can be a beautiful girl and still be a hero and still have a little bit of, like, tenderness and softness to you. That doesn't mean that you have to be, like, this, like, butch woman like Cameron's characters were, pretty much. They were sexless.
Yeah, absolutely. They he turned them into tough, flawed characters.
So the problem with what he said, also, as Patty Jenkins put it, is he's not a woman.
Yeah.
As much as he's done it before, and he's done what he's broke ground and done all this stuff, he doesn't speak for women.
No, that's right. You're never gonna win that argument with a woman because she's a woman, of course.
Right.
But he's holding his ground. He doesn't admit it was
he's pulling a full out Trump and just doubling
down. He said it was a simplistic remark, and I'm not walking it back. He said he did like the fact that sexually Wonder Woman had the upper hand with the male character. But to say it was a step backwards, they're both doing, you can't, he paved the way for a lot of this, but she's also pushing it forward in her own way. They're both kind of doing the same thing, so I don't know, but there's a little bit of bitterness, yes. Linda Carter also fired back, and she's like, stop dissing Wonder Woman, and she said he had thuggish comments. He called him a thug.
He called him a thug, that's awesome.
She pretty much called him a thug. James Cameron.
Can you imagine him out in like Compton?
He's got a tattooed thug life across his chest, I bet.
Yes.
Anyways.
Well, that's the point that I was making, is that there's a female-directed movie of a female hero with a female perspective.
Yes.
And James Cameron could never have that.
Right. It is one thing he can't accomplish.
There is a very monumental difference in what they did. So there you go.
Okay, moving on. Let's talk about Justice League a little bit. We had a little bit of Justice League news. The movie's coming out in November. They apparently test screened the movie, and I saw.
Is this get a standing ovation like Batman versus Superman?
I don't know. I saw reactions ranging from amazing to epic to just meh. It's okay. So they're not letting anybody talk about it, but of course you're going to see the good ones.
So we're going to talk about it.
We're going to talk about.
Don't worry, kids.
Yeah.
We're going to give you the straight dope when we see this shit.
When we see it. But what's interesting is after the screening came out, there's a Lex Luthor cameo that was supposed to be in there. It was not in the movie. And then recently, Iris West's cameo also cut. I think also good. Like, just trim these things. If you're trying to set up other things, like, just make a movie about this movie. If all those scenes are setting up other things, just cut it out. This one was interesting. They've already projected this opening weekend. There's this website called proboxoffice.com, and they do this thing called the long range forecast, and they're estimating $150 million opening 3-day weekend.
Oh shit.
Which is,
It's possible.
I guess,
It's Justice League, man. I mean,
it's Justice League. It's still like 2 months out, but it should make $150 million.
As a viewer, are you not wanting to see this movie? Like, are you just like gonna fucking not see it? Of course you're gonna see
Everybody's
it
gonna
because,
see it.
like, you saw Batman versus Superman. It was a spectacle, and you're hoping to see if all of this yelling and screaming and all this fucking yelling at Zack Snyder to the point where Joss Whedon has to take over is going to make any difference.
There's so much drama that how can you not be there opening night? Yes, Joss Whedon stepping in to complete the movie. Lots of cuts, sweeping cuts. He's changing the ending.
They fucking spent a shitload of bread on this movie, too.
They spent a lot of money. Zack Snyder's family tragedy forcing him to step away. Like, wow, what a story already. I got another little piece of news that made me a little bit more excited for this movie, because largely I think we all think it may be a train wreck, but we don't know. We'll give it a go. Danny Elfman stepped in after I think Junkie XL or Hans Zimmer. Everybody quit.
You were already excited because Joss Whedon got writing credits. I remember that
Joss
show.
Whedon is getting writing credits. All right, this is going to make me more
yeah, I
excited.
recall this as well.
Because Danny Elfman said he's bringing John Williams' classic Superman theme to Justice League with a dark twist, which I thought that's a lot of cool. And then because he also wrote the Batman theme, so can you imagine in the movie, Batman, like the Batman scene goes da 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 da, and it cuts to Superman, and then you hear da 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 da. That's not the theme. How does Superman go? That's it. And then it cuts to Batman, and it's like da 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 da. Like, that would be awesome.
Let me pour some water on your thing. The theme music has actually been the best things they've done.
Yeah.
Like the Wonder Woman theme. Even though the new Superman theme was pretty good.
Yeah.
The music has never been a problem for DCEU.
No, that's true. And he talks about he writes little themes for Flash and Aquaman. So each of these characters will have a little musical
each
theme.
a distinct theme. Because that's the one thing Marvel's missing.
Yes.
By the way, I was watching Batman versus Superman Dawn of Justice for a few minutes because I had landed on it.
Yeah.
On cable, and there's just a fucking scene where Superman just is standing in the middle of the street while Batman drives into him.
Oh yeah,
and
great.
I'm like, what the fuck is this movie? This is terrible.
That's
It's
a great
so
scene.
bad. It really is so fucking
That's a great
bad.
scene because
where he bounces off of him.
Well, and also that's great because Batman's chasing criminals and Superman decides that's a great time to let the criminals go away so he can talk to Batman.
Yeah.
That's a great
Don't
scene.
worry
fuck
about
is this?
them.
What
You and I, we need to
movie?
talk. Bounce
You
off
and
me first.
the Batman's dead. Bury it.
Yeah, like he's gonna do that.
Yeah.
Like you say one line and then you just leave, and
And
he's
he
just like,
leaves.
"Well, I gotta hang it up
Okay.
now."
You're the boss.
You will.
All right, so the music will
my
be
God.
exciting. Joss Whedon directing and writing is exciting. Keep an eye out for that when
You think
watching
Joss
the-
Whedon was like, all right, Zack Snyder had the same exact shit like going on in this movie where like it made no sense. And then Joss Whedon's like, we can't do this. We gotta reshoot this.
What's going on here?
We're starting over.
Why is Superman backhanding Wonder Woman for no apparent reason?
Oh shit.
So another great article from Vulture came out, had a lot of interesting bits, starting with, we call this the DC Extended Universe, and we thought this is the official, I assume this was the official name of what they're calling it. Turns out even the people at Warner Brothers don't fucking call it that. No one at the studios uses that name. It started as a joke. This guy who wrote this article on Vulture, he tracked down the first use of the term to an Entertainment Weekly article in July 2015. Writer Keith Stegowich told him that he created the phrase as a joke. It was my own phrasing. When I used it in the story, just seemed like the kind of thing they'd call it. So I thought that's great. They don't even have a name. They don't have a name.
That's not even a story, Imran.
Yeah, that's real bad.
No, look, here's the thing.
A guy that was writing a fucking story and just
Entertainment
decided
Weekly.
to name it that, and that's a fucking story, Imran?
Didn't you think it was official? The main thing out of this Vulture article that came out is that they've finally taken the hint and they've come out and said that they are de-emphasizing their cinematic universe after Justice League.
Oh, shit.
Which it's about
There's really nowhere for them to go at this
It's about fucking time.
De-emphasize. That seems to kind of make sense.
De-emphasizing. But so
what do you think? Okay, this is all a bunch of bullshit.
Yeah.
Because if Justice League makes a shitload of money, they're gonna rethink that super quick.
Yeah, they're gonna go right back into wanting them. If like Rug Boy said, if this makes a ton of money and people are like, man, I love the Flash, I love Cyborg, I love all these characters are so intriguing. You don't think DC's going to turn around and be like,
printing money right now and do something else?
We're going to continue this whole thing and we're not going to make a Justice League 2? Get the fuck out of here.
Well, what they're saying is they want to make standalone movies and not have it stick to like a one whole cinematic universe storyline thing.
This is their contingency plan.
Yeah.
This is if Justice League fucking shits the bed big time. And even if it does well and gets shitty reviews and gets like the stigma, like people went to go see Batman vs Superman and shit all over it for like months. We did it. We're doing it for 2 years now.
Yeah.
So I don't know how long has it been. It's been a while.
Yes.
But like we've been shitting on it for like a long time. We never stopped. So if it gets to that level where people are just shitting on that movie, they're gonna go in a different direction.
Right.
But if people like it, it's a long shot. But I mean, if people do like it, they're gonna fall right back into it.
Yeah, that's BS.
This is the corporate speak words that Diane Nelson used. She said, our intention certainly moving forward is using the continuity to help make sure nothing is diverging.
It gives them an easy way to pivot so that they can make their Scorsese Joker movie and not have all these fans on uproar like we were.
Yes.
How are you going to make 3 Joker movies at the same time?
They want everything to kind of give you standalone movies, but I think this is this is the philosophy they should have started with instead of trying to simulate backwards what Marvel has done. It'd have been great if they started like this. Give us some standalone movies.
I think they should have just made better movies.
Well, that also. But the reason the movies failed is because they're trying to force all this shit into the movies to set up other movies. Like, make the movie about the one movie, not another movie. Don't give me a movie that's about 6 other movies coming up in the fucking next 5 years.
That's one of many reasons why those movies were bad, but yes.
Yeah, so, look, I thought that was interesting. Great article by Vulture.
I'm glad. So what should we call it, Imran? You really thought this was news, so what should we be calling the DC?
The DC,
no.
it's not a shared universe. It's not an extended universe. Just call it the DC cluster fuck you.
Oh, okay. That might work.
This is what they should do.
Yeah.
Is that they should just they should do the DC, let's see what the fuck happens universe.
Yes, which is what it is.
There you go.
So, like, if they make a movie and people like it, they'll make more of those movies. There you go. And then if they don't like it, then they're going to make a whole fucking bunch of new shit.
Should be called DC one movie at a time. Can we just start there?
I like DC, happens? Let's see what the fuck happens.
Yeah. It's just so fucking funny that they're literally sitting on the IP fucking gold mine.
Gold!
And they're just shitting it.
And they've had
They're just making complete garbage.
They've had it for so long, whereas Marvel Studios has had to kind of like go and ask for scraps back and eventually get stuff that they gave away back. They've had this. It's always been at Warner Brothers for a long time.
What a bunch of fucking tools.
Let's move on to some TV news. We mentioned at the top of the show, InHumans is airing right now as we're recording. We will give you our hate-watching thoughts next week. You know what's funny?
We'll love it. What are you talking about?
I think it may get massive ratings because of all the fucking bad press. Like, people have got to be like, I have to see how bad this fucking is.
Oh, you do not know how TV works on Fridays.
No? This might actually work.
It's fucking already in the death slot. It's already in the Friday death slot.
You might be surprised. You might be surprised how many people be like, I'm going to check this out because I heard it was shit.
Friday night.
Yeah, but DVR, dude, people do not need to watch it on Friday night. They watch it when they get home drunk, and it's going to seem hilarious.
DVR doesn't factor into ratings.
I'm drunk, and it doesn't seem hilarious.
Look, this show, as you know, is already being called the worst thing Marvel TV has ever put on television. And there's some hints that it may be canceled already.
Oh, shit.
From this website, renewcanceltv.com, the marketing suggests that one and done cancellation, as far because they talk about a promo piece that says the first chapter complete series, as if it's only going to be one chapter. So They should probably just pull the plug on it already. I don't know. Save yourself some money.
Well, I haven't seen it yet, but I mean, I have no interest in watching it. I've seen the trailers.
I can't wait to watch this.
It's one of those things where, like, I'd love to be this optimistic guy, but everything they've put out has just been so meh.
But you know what? You don't ever know until you watch it.
That's true. But the point of putting this out is to build hype, and if anything, they've de-hyped what they've put.
Or have they hyped it in a reverse way?
Yeah, no, they de-hyped it.
De-hyped it.
Yeah, they made me not want to watch this.
If I were to watch this and it was actually really good, I would get 100% behind it.
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't just shit on it because everybody didn't like it.
I would eat my words if after this 8-episode run, it actually
you're going to watch the whole 8?
Well, you have to.
No, you don't.
To properly
I'll
judge it
watch
and review it.
For at least 4 episodes.
It's only 8 episodes. It's not a lot.
Imran, that's 8 hours of your life.
If they don't find their shit by the 4th episode, and they don't get me hooked onto it by the 4th, then it's not going to happen.
It is 8 hours. I could be watching Game of Thrones, isn't it?
It's 8 hours. You could be watching any sorts of things that might be better.
But what
I'm
if
not
it's
saying
amazing?
This is going to be bad.
Yeah.
I'm just saying if it's bad, don't watch 8 hours of it.
I'm saying it's not going to be good. And,
you can't judge a show on 1 episode.
No, you got to give it 3 to 4. You got to
give it a few. That's just a general rule.
True.
3 to 4. Moving on to some other Marvel TV on Netflix, where they started real hot, and we've all kind of cooled off on their offerings because they've just kind of declined in quality. The next one, The Punisher, we got a trailer finally. We still don't know the date.
One of the best trailers I've ever
When it's coming.
seen.
All right, Ruggs, what did you like about this trailer?
Okay, I recently saw Baby Driver.
Okay.
Which is fucking phenomenal.
Edgar Wright's movie, yeah.
It's phenomenal. It's not the greatest movie you've ever seen, but it's at least it's interesting and it's new and it's fresh. And one of the things that movie does is it edits the whole entire movie, everything that happens in the movie, to the song that's playing at the moment in time.
Okay.
So like if a gunshot goes, the gunshot will hit at the same time as the drum snare will snap.
Does it get too gimmicky though? Is that too much, or does it just do it enough?
They do it. Sometimes it's a little bit much, but at the same time, it's kind of interesting when they do it.
Yeah.
They really do it a lot in the action sequences. So it's just like, how do they fucking think to do all this?
They kind of did that in this trailer with,
and they did exactly this in this trailer.
Gunshots to Metallica.
They took Metallica's one and they chopped it up. And I think they made one of the best trailers I've ever seen for Marvel.
Well, I love that he's playing it on his guitar in the beginning, and it's all like you see him with his family, and then just boom, shot back of the head to the wife, and you're like, oh, this is gonna be brutal, and he's bloody, and he just fucking takes no mercy.
There's one scene though that I feel like it's not Frank Castle.
Okay.
When he's screaming and shooting at the same time, I don't think Frank Castle.
Oh, that's like a Rambo thing. Rambo screams, only when he's frustrated, but Frank Castle would be cool.
I think
calm.
Frank Castle never fucking screams. He's never going. He's not human.
Yeah,
that's true. He is not human. He's a human being that's become almost soulless.
He's like
all
the
of
Terminator.
His rage comes out in his actions, like by fucking breaking someone's neck and like squeezing their face until their eyeballs pop out and their jaw gets dislocated. Like that's Frank Castle.
But I think it's some of those great Mike Zeck covers where his mouth is kind of open and it's kind of screaming, but not really.
I'm on the Delhauer. He kind of hyped me up for this. I was kind of meh.
Yeah.
But yeah, John Bernthal was fucking fantastic in Daredevil season 2, and seeing him rip shit up for a while might be pretty good.
You know, we're sick of the hand. Anthony posted that video, another great one from Patrick Willem.
Yep.
The video essay about why is the hand so boring on Marvel's Netflix, and he brilliantly breaks down how they fucked up the hand. So
stop being ninjas for one.
Yeah, they made them like all these different things, like drug smugglers and people traffickers, and they were in corporate business
shenanigans. The gist of it too was that the hand has never been the focus in Marvel comics. It's always been a background thing.
They demystified them by telling us exactly what they do.
Thanks, Imran, for telling everybody what I was going to say.
But that's why I think this is going to be awesome, because you got no magic, you got no powers, you just got a dude with a gun and a fucking vengeance streak.
My one question, I said this last week, is does he work better as a side character?
Yeah.
Because does the Terminator soulless guy just killing everything in his path, does that wear thin after 12 episodes?
You got the guy in the chair.
I always wanted to, since the beginning of time, where I've seen The Punisher, ever since I've read The Punisher, Warzone. the beginning of time. Since John Romita fucking did Punisher Warzone,
Yeah.
I fucking loved the Punisher.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I said, like, it
Those are
only
great.
works. I mean, you can either do it as, if you do this exact comic and you do it as a TV series, then it would work. But then I was thinking, oh, this guy's fucking evil. Like, why would we want to watch? But people read the comics, so I was like, people will watch the show. The other way you would do it is that if Punisher was like almost like fucking Freddy Krueger, or like the bad guy in a way, where fucking criminals were like, you'd follow like the mob, and then he would just show up and kill them. And like he was like the boogeyman.
That's kind of that's what they did in Daredevil, basically.
Yeah.
That's why he was so awesome. He was basically the boogeyman.
Yeah.
So I'm thinking that they might take it from the. I'm thinking that they're going to take it from the viewpoint of the feds trying to stop him, and he will be a side character in a way.
That might work where it's like the feds are going to solve a case, and they need to get the criminal that he's a bad guy, but they're going to give him amnesty because it's going to take down 100 other men, and
They
Punisher
need his
just comes
help.
in and fucking kills them. So it's like, fuck, we need to find another lead.
Oh, he keeps killing.
He keeps
their
killing
leads.
the guys
Yeah,
that they're going to testify against this mob. Because the Punisher doesn't give a fuck. He gives zero fucks and wants to kill every bad person.
That's a lot of ways in the comics, like Spider-Man or Daredevil would run into the Punisher as he would beat him to one of his leads. And you see there's Homeland Security, the feds are after him, and this one, you do have Microchip, you got the guy in the van, the guy in the chair.
What I got from the trailers, it seems like there's just corruption everywhere.
Yeah.
Which is okay, but it's kind of been done to death in the Netflix stuff.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to see what the
I just
whole
hope it's good.
series...
I think it might actually be pretty good.
Look,
though.
you're not going to get this I'm dating Rand shit.
Yeah.
No,
All right, you're not going to get that. You're going to get a much better performance. You know, Bernthal is not my ideal Punisher, but I think he's going to fucking act as best as he can to do this. I think he's going to put his heart and soul into the movie.
You know, now that I've been watching, speaking of Danny Rand,
Yeah.
now that I've been watching Game of Thrones,
Yeah.
still I'm in the season 6, but man, there is nothing about Finn Jones in that series where I would have been like, he would have been an awesome lead in another show.
This guy should be Iron
guy
Fist.
should-
He has literally been on the show for maybe like 5 minutes, and I've watched 6 seasons already.
Oh, yeah.
And he's just the gay guy.
Yeah. Yeah. Pretty much. You're right. You're like, this guy should be a ninja. No, I don't know. I don't know. what you see.
You could not tell anything from his performance in Game of Thrones to think he should be a lead.
He's really like babyface too in Game of Thrones. It's weird.
Well, that's part of his character, but
Yeah.
he's done. They gave him nothing to do.
Yeah. No, they didn't. He's just the side.
You'll see him run. You've got more.
Now, do you guys watch the gay scenes, or what do you do when it happens with the gay scenes?
I cover my eyes. What do you mean? Do I watch
Well,
them?
of course, I watch them.
Look.
Like, you watch them and like don't turn away at all?
No.
No. What?
No.
It's part of the narrative.
Oh,
I'm gonna miss important plot details.
Jesus. I always find I'm very uncomfortable during those scenes.
I am uncomfortable, and we'll get into this when we talk about it, and all the fucking torture scenes and the pain scenes. Oh my God. I can't. That's when I can't. I'm just thinking about what they're doing to these people. Makes me cringe. Another show that we've cooled off on that's coming back October 22nd, The Walking Dead.
Okay, before we talk about The Walking
Yes.
Dead, I just got to say we have a running theme, and I apologize to the listener already. This has been a very hateful show. We've just hated on everything.
We really have. Can we find something that
Although
we're gonna
Punisher
like?
was a little bit more positive, so
was a
let me
little
run it down.
positive. Look, we gotta unload a lot of things. People, it's
We're
been
like-
a hell of a week.
We're like that Dave Chappelle skit where they
The
haters
Club.
Haters ball, yeah, no, it's a haters ball.
Hey.
Continuing the hate.
Excuse me while I change the water in Buck Nasty's mama's dish.
Let's see if you guys hate this.
Well, when you
Season
start off
8
with Harry Knowles
I know.
being a pervert, it just sets the mood, the tone for the kind of show.
By the way, we're gonna get so much fan mail or not fan mail. What's the opposite of that? Hate mail.
Hate mail?
We get a lot of it.
Tweet at Really Rug Boy all of your comments, listener. It's fine. He can take it. Look, do you guys hate this? The Walking Dead will be able to say fuck twice in season 8.
Oh, shit.
Now, Fear the Walking Dead, which the back half has started, they already said it, but nobody watched that show, so nobody
I don't
noticed.
give a fuck.
Yes, nobody.
I got fucks all over the place.
Like-
I can say fuck.
You know,
that's 10 fucks.
that's-
I don't even know. I can't even. count
That's
how
a lot
many
of
I
fucks.
Yeah.
You know, and they got Jeffrey Dean Morgan's Negan, who in the comic book, if you read, every other word is the F word, but they've negotiated with AMC to loosen up their no fucks policy. and they're going to let him swear twice.
Boy. Is this a light news week or what?
Yeah,
there's
this is not even a fucking story.
But this is. Do you think this is just a gimmicky that to get people back?
Why would anyone even give a shit? I mean, it's like a nice footnote. Like after you watch the episode, you're like, oh, he said fuck. Oh, that's nice. But
meanwhile, Game of Thrones is showing you everything.
Yeah, they're showing you penis.
Yeah.
They're showing you every kind of sex there is.
They're showing you incest,
whether you want to see it or
baby
not.
killing, small child killing, lots of swear words. So
I cannot believe this is a story.
All right, they're catching up.
I'm not even necessarily hating on you, Imran. I'm looking at the websites the website that this is legit website that's writing a story about how they can say fuck.
How they can say fuck on AFC.
What the fuck?
Yeah, get a life, guys.
What the fuck? This is the world we live in. Thanks for catching up to 2017. Okay, last bit of news that I got sent to me today, and I thought this was really interesting. It's from this website called rightwingwatch.org. It's not a right-wing website. It watches the right wing. The alt-right is getting involved in comic books, people. This guy, alt-right activist Vox Day, is launching a comic book series to trigger the left. This
God.
is really interesting. He has raised $32,000 overnight.
That's suspect right there.
Right? His name is Theodore Beale, but he's
like
known
in
online.
one night he raised that.
Yes. Right. There's a trailer, and it's not very good. Alt-right activist Theodore Beale, better known as Vox Day, told his fans that major comic makers are methodically, purposefully, absolutely attempting to destroy every value, every American value, every Western value, every Christian value that they can get their hands on by creating spin-offs of popular comic series that depict classic characters as black, female, and Muslim. Bale's answer to that perceived attack is to fund the creation of a comic series that features triggering white characters that smoke cigarettes, wear Confederate flag costumes, and combat left-wing protesters.
Oh.
All right. Do you have a response, Anthony, to this?
This is fucking ridiculous.
No, I'm going to let you guys touch this one. I'm not touching this one either.
All right. I'm gonna go on the record here.
Yeah.
Okay, hold on. Here we go.
Here's the rundown. Look, it's America. You can do this shit if you want.
Yeah.
You can do it. You have every right to fucking do this. I'm not telling you not to do this. But why do you got to be an asshole?
Yeah, why you got to be a dick about it?
You can do it, but
perfect way to put that.
Now you're just being a dick.
Yes.
Like, look, I'm not to play devil's advocate or whatever. Like, I'm not a really big fan of like this whole like super left, like trying to stop you from saying anything, especially if it's true. Like, you can't even say things that are plain as day without people getting offended. I know that bothers people. It bothers me as somebody who wants to be funny. Like, you can't be funny without being somewhat mean. Like, there's no such thing as like a nice comedian. Like I love my mother. That's not funny. Like, my mother sucks. That's fucking hilarious. Or, my mother fucking makes me miserable. That's hilarious. So like, you have to be able to say kind of negative things, but this is not the way to like counteract what's going on. Like to go and say, oh, I'm going to make a completely anti
on purpose to trigger the left.
No, that's just fucking bullshit. That's like being an asshole.
Yeah, that's definitely being an asshole.
Fuck the people who supported this and fuck the people who are making this.
There's a difference between trying to start a conversation and trying to piss people off.
Yeah. He's obviously pressing buttons.
I understand where he's coming from.
Yeah.
In a certain like he's fighting for the. He's like, by people infringing upon my freedom to speak, I'm going to now go to this nth degree, and that's what creates division in this whole country. The reason that we have like the alt-right and the super left, or whatever you want to call it, regressive left, whatever the label is because people are not trying to be in the middle and just be like, let's be like reasonable about this, and let's say, okay, this is America. We can say things, but we know not to say these things.
Well, what happens too is, and I've noticed this with people. I've had friends on the left that are super feminist or super left. Yeah. And the problem with being an asshole is your message gets lost. And now I don't want to support your cause or have a conversation. I just want to go against whatever you're saying because you're a dick.
Yeah, because you're going about it in the worst way possible.
That's like PETA is exactly a
Right,
great example of
exactly.
that. They're they say
have
they help
decent
animals.
intentions.
Yeah, but why you gotta be an asshole and fucking ruin people's coats?
Now I want to fucking wear a mink coat.
Yes, now I want to do something bad.
Yeah.
Dude, this trailer, I will link this in the show notes. This trailer features a character that, quote, it says, doing the job the police don't want to and cleaning up the streets one illegal at a time.
Oh,
It says the series,
that's some balls.
It goes storylines, not social justice. So,
it's just crazy. It's just crazy.
like, there's a clever, sophisticated, intelligent way to do what he's doing, and this is not the fucking way. Like, this is the complete opposite way.
No, there's nothing clever about that.
No,
like if you listen to Bill Maher, he's clearly about free speech because he's a comedian,
right?
And you can't be a comedian without somehow pressing someone's buttons.
No,
all right,
right.
And you can't just be completely silent because then we're living in that fucking Fahrenheit whatever. I don't know. Remember that book where they fucking set
451.
451.
Yeah, 451 where they censored all. They burned all the books and they censored all of everything. And then people were just living in this fucking world that was like terrible and without any kind of joy. You can't have it two extremes. So I'm telling you that this is not the way to fucking do this. You got to go to the middle, people.
We do. We need a dialogue.
You're right, Rugby. You bring up a good point in that it's a weird society and that no one's fucking moderate anymore.
Yes.
Everyone has to choose a side and
we've become completely binary.
I've never seen
and always stakes
so
their
divided.
claim
It's
on
amazing.
one side or the other. Where I think I forgot who said it, but some guy was like, if you're a Republican or a Democrat, you're a fucking moron. Because some things I'm a Republican on, and some things I'm a Democrat on.
It's not just black and white.
Right.
It's
Well,
right.
that's
It's
why
not
I
that
always-
binary.
That's why I always tell people to check out Dave Rubin on YouTube.
Yeah.
Because he's this guy who used to be a liberal, or he still is a classic liberal, but because he said a couple of things that pissed off the left, they've painted him as an alt-right person.
Oh, Jesus.
And I'm like, how can he be alt-right? He's gay, he's Jewish, and he's from like New York City, the most liberal place in the world, and he's for like all of these like liberal.
Which guy is this again?
Dave Rubin. He's fucking amazing. He's the only person that actually talks with any kind of like sense, as far as like he's very moderate in his views. But people have labeled him alt-right because he's had alt-right people on his show so we could have a conversation with them, and he just listens to what they say and lets you make up your mind about it.
Even Bill Maher makes fun of the left when they do fucking something idiotic.
There was
They
an
do
episode with Bill Maher and Sam Harris and Ben Affleck, which is really good, where they talked about Islam.
Yeah.
That's a real interesting one.
That's a classic.
Ben Affleck gets real fucking pissed.
Yeah.
He gets real angry real quick without really listening to what Sam Harris had to say.
Right.
But yeah, it's true. Like, I mean, what Sam Harris says can be inflammatory if you look at it through a certain lens, but if you look at it from another lens, it's not all completely wrong either.
That's true.
It's somewhere in the middle.
It is
Sam
somewhere
Harris
in the middle.
uses wording that could inflame, but his message shouldn't be as inflammatory.
Yeah, it's kind of weird. Like, so people can instantly label. Like, how do you get labeled? Like, alt-right is like those dudes that were protesting that fucking the Confederate statues or whatever.
Yeah.
I'm like,
This is not the same. This is not the same
walking
thing.
around saying about Jews will not replace us. Like,
They won't.
Oh, shit.
Look, we gotta just put ourselves in each other's shoes and see where everybody's coming from and understand things.
Imran, the
instead
great
of being,
uniter.
I am the uniter,
The
not
next
the divider.
Abe Lincoln.
I am reaching my arm across, offering the olive branch.
his beard is both black and white.
Right, exactly. Embrace, get to the beard. It's just like the cookie on Seinfeld.
Imrabraham.
If I can have a black and
This is
white
the best
beard,
show we've ever
then
done.
America can finally get together. This has been a very weird show, listener.
We've called you the great uniter and a pedophile in one show.
Yes, that's
shit.
what we do
Not a
here.
pedophile, I'm sorry, a future sexual harassment accusee.
Yeah, you're the next blogger to go down. Imran.
Evan Faraci, Harry Knowles, save me a spot at the bar. How about
Ain't got
that?
nothing on you. Oh,
Boy,
fuck,
this
sorry.
has been a weird show.
We also got Rugboy to admit that he's uncomfortable watching the gay scenes.
Yes,
on
we did
Game
that.
of
That was a
Thrones.
breakthrough. We'll have to get back to that and fully delve into that more.
What do I do? Like, what do I do? Like,
You just
is it
watch
erotic
it.
to me, or just watch it? I'm
I
like,
think you just watch
You
it.
just watch it. If it's
it's like it doesn't. I'm like just sitting there going, I want this. Okay, can we get to the next
That's it.
part?
You watch watch it and if it's and try not to be scared if it is erotic.
I'm not like disgusted by it. By the way, I'm just like I'm like, okay, let's get to the next part. Let's like it's all.
You sit.
This honestly has been one of the better episodes we've done.
Like, to be honest with you, when I see excessive sex scenes, period, I'm like, can we get to the next part? So,
there you go. That makes it sound better.
Okay. All right. Look, that's it for the news. We're going to take a break and regroup. I'm going to play some indie promos. 2 pods a day coming up in October. Don't forget about that. And we will continue.
After these messages, we'll be right back.
In a world where so many podcasts offer TV and movie news, along comes another one filled to the brim with podcasty goodness that is only slightly better at best.
Admit it, you're always looking for a new brand of meaningless movie nonsense in your podcast diet.
Look for the 365 Flicks podcast on Twitter, iTunes, Stitcher, and all good third-party podcast apps. You can also swing by the Facebook page.
Come join in on the adventures of Kev, a pissy ex-video store clerk,
and Chris, a Scottish Whedon Hall.
We're your vocal heroes of pissy opinion.
We bring you all the latest TV and movie news, reviews, and general geeky rants,
as well as a bunch of top 5s that you really won't care about. So whether you're Team Iron Man or Team Cap,
you're Team Batman or Team Superman,
drop on by the 365 Flicks podcast, where the Chris vs. Kev Civil War never stops.
This is the podcast you're looking for.
In an age of steam and gears, of monstrous machines and greedy corporations, in a world of automatons and dirigibles and faster-than-sound sky trains, in a time out of time, where the Americas weathered multiple civil wars, where armies continue to watch from the brink of the next conflict. It is a reality where witches and ghouls live among thinking machines and walking machines that resemble humans. It's a role-playing game. It's a dramatic radio adventure. It's a comedy. It's the Steamrollers Adventure Podcast, available on iTunes or at rigstories.com.
My name is Carrie Sims, and I host sketching comedy with my artist friends Imran Javed.
Hey, that's me.
And Phil Rude each week live on YouTube. Hang out with us as I learn and discuss the legends of comic book art and comedians while the fellows are creating live drawings during the show. I learned Bill Burr has a brother that was almost a replacement for the late Senator Ted Kennedy.
Yikes. Carrie, did you know he was also on Two Guys, a Girl, and a Pizza Place as an extra? I blame him for Ryan Reynolds.
Visit BlazingCaribouStudio.com or tune in each week on our YouTube channel and download the podcast at iTunes, Stitcher, Google Play, or wherever podcasts are found.
Sketch you later.
Doc and Nerd.
Hey, listener, thanks for listening. And if you've been enjoying the show and you want more show, visit our fan club. Join the fan club, jockandnerd.com/Patreon. For a low monthly pledge, you help us cover the cost, keep the podcast going, and you get access to a personal exclusive podcast feed. A whole nother podcast that's just bonus episodes, instant reactions to movies, hours and hours of audio goodness. And we will thank you and be your friend. And it's the first show of a new month.
I'm not going to be your friend.
Well, Anthony, I'll be your friend twice. Anthony will be your enemy, actually. You'll have an enemy. I just want to say thank you to everyone by name who has supported us on the fan club because it's the first show of a new month. So thank you to our latest, Jimmy Graben, our super patron, Joe Henry, David Zika, Jimmy McPike, Wes Cranford, Matthew Lawrence, Ron Hans, Adam Morris, Kerry Sims, Stephen Tran, Joe Famoric, Steve Morrison, Matt Delhauer, David Malofsky, and Philip Milan. If you want your name added to that list to be read with all these awesome
illustrious list,
people,
let me
it's
tell
a
you.
very illustrious group of people. They are all enjoying bonus, extra, awesome content. Just visit jockandnerd.com/Patreon. Links in the show notes. And let's start with our first TV review here. We're going to do a little Star Trek Discovery. Let me give the spoilers.
Let's spoil some shit, Batman.
Ooh-wee.
This was the reason I wanted to talk about this. First of all, like 10 million people watched this fucking show. Apparently,
Really?
yes.
Wow, that's crazy to me.
How
Anthony,
did they watch it? They went and they downloaded it, or was it on TV?
it was on TV. Anthony was not one of those 10 million.
Predictable.
Well, yeah, it was. You have to get CBS All Access, right?
Well, here's the deal. This is a show that is being shown on CBS All Access, but they aired the first episode. There's 2 hours.
What do you mean they aired the first?
They aired the first episode on television, on CBS.
Gotcha. Okay.
On network TV. But it ended in a cliffhanger. To watch the second episode, you would sign up for a free trial to CBS All Access. Now, Ruggs, you watched the first 2 episodes?
Absolutely.
I did too. Before we get into all that technological stuff, let's just talk about the first 2 episodes. What did you think, Rug Boy?
I'm not down on it at all. I think that it has some things to iron out, and it has got a lot of promise. I didn't understand some of the things that they did, some of the choices that they made, but I thought the production value was very high, and pretty much the direction was decent, and everything was above par. I
mean, it's an interesting show in the terms of it's not like the typical Star Trek TV show we're used to. I watched The Next Generation. I really loved that show. That was the one series I like the most. But for example, what do you think when you think of Star Trek? Like they're on the deck of the ship for most of the episode. This show, there's a lot of action, even though it's set 10 years before the Kirk Trek. Apparently, in that timeline, it looks a lot like the Abrams movie. There was a lot of action. It was a very blockbustery 2 episodes, which is really not like a Star Trek episode. That's really more story. And the show is called Star Trek Discovery. The name of the ship, you don't even get to the ship. Like we didn't meet the ship in the first 2 episodes. I thought that was interesting. But 2 great, strong female leads. Another, we got Sonequa Martin Green, who is Sasha on The Walking Dead. As her name is Michael, which is weird.
What?
Her name is Michael on the show.
Okay.
She's a human who was raised by Vulcans. She's actually raised by Spock's father, played by Theo Gallivan from Gotham.
Yeah.
James Frain. And then Michelle Yeoh is the captain of the Shenzhou. So I like the 2 strong. I like the opening credits. I thought that was, again, very different. Usually you get the ship flying through space. This opening credits very artsy, and
I like the opening.
I love
the
opening credits.
I like the music. Yeah. I like that they give a little flair of the original at the end.
Yeah, in the music, yes, they had the theme there.
Yes,
I got a theme for you. No,
I got your theme. We see Klingons that are different from Klingons that we've seen before, right? This is like a whole.
Yeah, I had a problem with that.
And they made the Klingons very Game of Thrones-ish. Like, they talk in Klingon to each other, and you got to read the subtitles.
That's fine.
Yeah. But it's all, like, about, kingdoms and the 24 houses of Klingons. Very Game of Thrones.
This is my critique of that.
Yeah.
I felt like it was, this is going to sound fucking so weird, but even in Klingon, as they're speaking in Klingon, I felt like the acting was bad. With the Klingon,
it seemed like the prosthetics was like a little too much for them trying to say the words or something.
That could be it, but I just think even the guy who they have cast as the lead Klingon, his voice, his cadence wasn't good enough. I didn't feel like sometimes when you read the words and you hear the cadence of the guy's voice, you can almost in your mind hear him saying it in English and what it would sound like.
You get the context of it. Yes.
Yes. And I was getting milquetoast the whole time.
It's very kind of one level
and
delivery.
That's for the acting in general in this. Sasha, I don't know her fucking name, but I'm sorry, I'm
Michael,
gonna call her Sasha.
Sonequa Martin Green.
Yeah, Sonequa Martin Green. That's a fucking mouthful.
That's a long name.
Her acting was inconsistent. Her acting was inconsistent. I love her character. I think that she's a great character.
Yeah.
But every once in a while, she wouldn't sound like a Vulcan anymore. She sounded like Vulcan a lot.
Yeah.
Like she had this Vulcan cadence and Vulcan way of speaking. and all of a sudden it would just drop off, and she'd be Sasha from Walking Dead.
A little bit. And they kind of play that off as like, she's half human, but she should be a little more Vulcan. Like, how do you balance the logicness with the emotion of being
I was
human?
getting confused by that.
Yeah.
And Michelle Yeoh, I love Michelle Yeoh, but I'm sorry, and I have to say this, but I can't tell what the fuck she's saying half the time. I'm sorry. Like, I mean, I really want. I love Michelle Yeoh in all the movies where she's speaking her native language or whatever. But to give her this much dialogue and it's like all space shit, like with like I don't think it's like words that she says on a daily basis. She doesn't say
she was
warp
in
drives
Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2.
She had like 2 lines in that movie.
Yeah.
Lita Ogard.
But that's fine. Like, I love Michelle Yeoh, but just for some reason, I think that this role is probably too talk heavy for her to convey. But,
I could understand her fine. It's fine.
I had trouble. I really did. And maybe because I was listening to it lower than I normally would.
Plus I had captions on, so I always have captions.
There you go.
Oh shit!
I always have captions on.
I was watching it in the dead of night.
No, but
and I was
even
trying not to
still,
wake people up.
I'm all
He's watching it with captions. I understood him perfectly fine.
No, here's the thing. What's funny is I get this at work too. Like, I understand ethnic people speaking English very well because I grew up with like Pakistani Indian people and like a lot of Asian people around. But even other like white people will be like, "How'd you know what the fuck she was saying?" Like, I'm
the same exact way, but I'm just saying, I'm Chris. I'm being honest. Like, I thought that she wasn't quite up to. Like, if you're gonna be the captain of a ship, you should be able to speak a little bit more crisply. That's all.
Well, spoiler alert: she does get killed at the end of the second episode. So
yes.
Because eventually you got to get the Michael, the Discovery, which we don't even see it. Doug Jones, I thought was great as Saru, that weird alien dude.
He was so huge.
He's very tall. Yeah, it's very tall and skinny.
Fucking humongous, that guy.
So look, and
skinny at the same time. It's really great. Really,
it's action packed. It was good. It was all right. The real question is are people going to sign up for the CBS All Access? And actually, the one thing that I noticed, everyone was confused. They didn't understand how to watch this, where to watch it later, how to get it.
It's a new on-demand channel.
Plus, also, would you expect the whole season to be up if you're signing up for a free trial of this app and this show just
does
premiered?
it not?
No. It goes up 1 week, episode
I don't
a week.
know. I mean, like, look, if you're really a Star Trek fan and you're really, I mean, look, they really do give you a lot of bang for your buck in this show. They really don't fucking hold back any kind of money. Production
the production's
out
great.
there.
The CGI looks great. The costumes are great.
The uniforms look great.
Yeah.
Everything looks fucking amazing.
The action's good.
The acting, that's the biggest weakness right there. That and its context in the canon of Star Trek. That's debatable.
Yeah, that's going to be a big question.
I don't know if it's going to be successful. I mean, I could tell as a show, if it was on broadcast TV, it'd probably do okay with fans anyway. I don't know if people will sign up en masse to see this shit.
It's $6
It looks like the best Star Trek series we've had in a while.
Yeah, anyway. I just don't think they made it easy for people to find this. Funny enough, it's called Discovery. You can't fucking discover the show because people thought the whole thing was
like
up there.
this move.
Yeah,
it's unnecessary for CBS. They're making, like, I gotta understand Netflix doing something like this or whatever, but CBS is already making fucking shitloads of money hand over fist with ad revenue.
Yeah.
Like, they have like the best way of making money.
You know what else is on that CBS All Access that's going to be huge for them is fucking Big Brother. They have Big Brother live feeds on there, and people still really love this fucking show. Like, it has tons of fans. It's very strange that it's still a thing.
I'm no interest in
The other confusing thing is overseas in the UK, it's coming on Netflix. Like, it's a Netflix series, and the fun thing they did over there is you can actually turn on Klingon subtitles and learn Klingon.
You want to know why?
Why?
Overseas doesn't have CBS. CBS is a nothing term.
That's a good point.
Anybody overseas.
Yeah.
So CBS All Access is even more of a nothing term. That channel doesn't exist.
So that nobody's going to sign up for that.
You have to put it on a different platform.
Yeah.
So while we have to pay extra for it here, over there, you already have the Netflix. You would get.
I don't think, as much as you love Star Trek, you should not pay for this.
Yeah,
fuck it.
Yeah, I don't know.
I'm sorry, you should not pay to see this. Because
I think you're right.
Because they should just put it on regular CBS TV.
I have one comparison I can make this to. Is this better than Daredevil Season 1? And I ask this because Daredevil Season 1 made me pay for Netflix.
Well, we don't know. There's only 2 episodes.
Yeah, but true. But I watched the first episode. I watched of Daredevil. I was like, I'm in.
Well, look, it's kind of a different thing.
Yeah. Okay. Fair enough.
Because Star Trek has many incarnations that have been on TV, that have, we don't really know what this is going to bring that's different. If maybe it's a little different level of violence that's not on regular TV. I don't know what the gain is from not being on regular TV. It feels like it could be on regular TV.
Absolutely.
It's safe enough to be on regular TV.
And it feels like CBS-ish, but also feels kind of Star Trek-ish.
So, like, Daredevil has this thing about, okay, it's on Netflix, there's no holds barred, you can do whatever they want, whatever they feel like they do, violence they want to do. It was a completely new and interesting thing to see a hero kind of be born on this medium. I don't think it's the same thing with Star Trek.
Well,
really
look, let's. I got a review here from Matt Delhauer, who wrote in. Here's what he says.
And he hates everything.
He hates everything. If you listen to our last episode, here's what he says. Hey, fellas, I wasn't sure if you were planning on checking out Star Trek Discovery, since we've never discussed anyone's Trek pedigree before right now. So I figured I would throw in my 2 cents in case you weren't planning on discussing it, or even if you are. To put it simply, the 2-episode premiere of Star Trek Discovery acts mostly as one long prequel to the entire series. All in all, the premiere was decent. It is very obvious they are attempting to make a show that can appeal to both the regular Trekkies as well as anyone who may have jumped on the bandwagon with the 2009 film series. The Abrams style is all over these 2 episodes.
I agree.
They suffer from the network TV pilot syndrome. Character and concept exposition is forced into questionable dialogue choices, but there's definitely potential for the series to do well. And it does its best to present plenty of themes and aspects Star Trek has always had present. Sonequa Martin seems to still be playing Sasha. That's what we said. And even if she is in space this time around, but the master of monster makeup, Doug Jones, is fantastic as the alien officer, Lieutenant Saru, and was my personal favorite part. It didn't entirely blow me away, but I'm still interested in seeing where it goes from here. Catch you later. Delhauer, are you going to pay for CBS All Access?
Catch you later, Delhauer.
Catch you later. That's the question I have. I think they should have at least played the 2nd episode, because the 1st episode ends on a cliffhanger, and I was like pissed. I was like, what?
They did that on purpose.
That's it.
Cliffhanger.
God damn it. I was upset. I was like, God damn it. At least show me the first 2.
It's got potential, but I think that this platform that CBS is doing, no one's going to fucking pay
Well,
for
this is what happens, and this is what I was, every time they try to make a exclusive platform, piracy grows up. So
now, if she was naked the whole time,
oh yeah, hello.
Game of Thrones, you got naked chicks. All right.
Yes.
What do you got that you can't see on regular TV? It's on Star Trek. That's what I'm trying to say. What are you paying for? Just more shows?
A lot of people just pirated this because they're like, "Fuck you! I'm paying $6 more a month."
No
bullshit. Now, what is fun is I watched the 2nd episode of The Orville after this.
Oh.
And that 2nd episode, Ruggs, did you watch that?
No, is it good?
Not really. There's no
It's
there's
okay,
no
Imran.
jokes.
It's okay. You'll still watch the entire season.
I will watch another episode, but there's no the 2nd episode really doesn't have any really good jokes, and it's just like a straight up this is my version of a lighter Star Trek, and a lot of it is like him and Adrian Palicki talking about their failed marriage, and it was just very vanilla plot, and I was like, huh. It was just nothing. It was okay, and it wasn't even that funny. There weren't even that many jokes.
The Orville was like Galaxy Quest, but not as funny.
Yeah, it
was more like it felt like he was just making Star Trek.
He's just making Star Trek. That's all it is. I'm not sure what he wants to do.
Like Star Trek Light.
Yes, that's exactly what it is. I'm still not sure what that show is supposed to be. It's not like a spoof. It's Star Trek Light.
Star Trek.
It is.
I remember reading something. I don't know where I read it, but basically, the guy said. He's like, this is Star Trek, Jean-Luc Picard, he was the A captain. He was the best captain
this
there
is
was.
The C team.
The best. This is the shitty team that no one gives a shit about. That's out doing mid-range shit that no one cares about. And,
it's blue-collar Star Trek. It's exactly what
yes,
it is. So, I don't know. It didn't, there's no good laughs in that second episode. So, I don't know.
It wasn't completely without entertainment value, but it wasn't something I would recommend to anyone. I was more impressed with The Tick than I was with
yes, absolutely.
The Tick surprised me. Yeah. I was like, oh, this has actually got something there.
Ruggs, you gonna You're not going to pay for CBS All Access, but will you check out the rest of the show?
Yes.
Are you going to do this illegally?
For free?
Yeah, free trial.
Yeah. I'll watch it. I like Star Trek.
Yes.
I'm a Star Trek person.
Yeah, you're Trekkie.
But like, I'm not paying for it. Fuck you. It should be on regular TV.
Yes, it should. Next week, like I said, we're going to talk about the Inhumans, and also The Gifted airs on Monday, which is the X-Men show. So we will discuss those. Let's get to something good, which is Game of Thrones. I love the Batman sweeper. If you are a new listener and you don't know, let me just explain. We are enjoying Game of Thrones for the first time. We are going through our virgin Game of Thrones. Anthony and myself, Rug Boy's seen it. We have just started watching it. We are virgin Game of Thrones. We're going through this. And here's our watch update. I'm in season 3, and I got to the end of episode 7.
So we'll get to where you're at. I'm 6th season now, episode 1. I've watched that, but
Damn.
we start where Imran is at, because
wait, is there one more? Then there's 7, right?
Yeah, I've got 2 seasons left. Basically,
See, I got
wowsies, zowsies.
I got 3.
Anthony's really like knuckle deep.
I'm what you would call
he's
balls
almost
deep.
going. He's going like almost into the wrist area.
In the elbow even.
Imran's just kind of pinkying himself in there, but like, how does this stack up against all the TV you've watched in your lifetime?
This really makes it hard to watch normal television when you watch something this good.
Like, was all the hyperbole like met with?
Absolutely. So far, yes, everything everybody told me is correct, and I get it now. I want to mention real quick, we talked about the opening credits of the Star Trek was awesome. These opening credits are amazing, and the way that every season they expand to show you the towns you're going to get to meet in the season is really cool, and I love the little flying around. I love the opening credits. The music also gets me pumped up watching it.
Let me just say something real quick about Game of Thrones, because I think Rug Boy asked us both, but Imran, of course, just took the lead. That's okay, Imran. I understand you. I actually do think it has hit the hype. I'm fully invested. The biggest thing that I enjoy, obviously Imran's a little further behind, so he hasn't seen some of the stuff I've seen, but you're right, Ruggs. The production values just get fucking better and better and better.
Yeah, it's really weird that they start pumping, like, I think the number for each episode now it's like 11 million or something.
Here I have an article.
Yeah, we'll get to that. We'll get to that.
Okay,
Imran. Don't say that yet.
I'll jump
but
ahead.
Not only that, but Imran's even touched upon this too, is the characters are so well written and go through so many mountains and valleys in terms of their character arcs. I'm rooting sometimes for characters that I've hated.
Yeah.
And I feel bad for characters that I hated. And it's weird emotions every time with every character.
It's great.
Yeah.
And this is the thing. Nobody does like an abrupt turn that's totally a gimmick turn. Like a wrestling turn. All of a sudden she's a bad guy.
It's so organic.
Like,
it's very organic.
No, it's not. It's well written, and this just proves that you can write things.
Yeah.
Well, now to be fair, the guy wrote these books, and they're these huge sprawling books, and all of the groundwork is there for them. But all the groundwork is there in comics. All the groundwork is there in a lot of things.
Exactly.
And people just fucking make these adaptations that suck huge donkey dick.
Clearly they took the best shit that's the most compelling from the books and, filtered through it, and they cut out all the bullshit.
The depth of characters really is what gets to me.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
So the last thing that happened that I watched.
What's the last thing that happened that you've watched?
Jamie Lannister, who's a lefty now, like me, we share something in common.
I'm also a lefty.
You're a lefty too. That's right. We went over this. He turned around, went back, and saved Brianna Tarth from a bear.
Oh, shit.
From a fucking bear in a little...
You're on the Jamie redemption path.
Oh my God. This, like you said, Jamie Lannister, I felt really bad for... So far, I feel really bad for a couple of characters. Jamie Lannister being one of them. And I don't know if you're supposed to feel bad for Jamie because apparently, he's done these horrible things. But he tells you the story of how he kills the Mad King.
How he gets the Kingslayer
and you're
nickname.
Like, yeah, and you're like, he saved the city. He was a hero. The Mad King was going to torch the whole city, and he stopped that, and he gets this bad name.
A big thing in Game of Thrones is honor and duty.
Yes.
And he breaks his honor and duty,
but he fucks his sister.
But he fucks his
But he
sister.
fucks his sister. He
does,
fucks,
but he breaks his
Like,
honor and duty to
save
what would seem to be the right thing.
Yeah, and
see, that's the thing. They always give you something that you can't forgive him doing.
Well, he fucks his sister and he pushes a 10-year-old outside of a tower.
But dude,
because he's fucking his sister.
Because he's fucking his sister.
When he got,
like, if he was fucking another lady, like that kid would be fine.
Right.
It's all because of the sister fucking.
Yeah, the sister fucking starts the whole thing off in the first episode.
Really, like Cersei is really the incarnate of evil. Like that's there. She's really
the temptress.
Like, they kind of fool you with the kid.
Yeah.
With whatever his name is.
Joffrey.
Yeah. They fucking did, but she's really the fucking the mecca of evil right there.
I'll save my thoughts on Cersei because there's stuff I've seen.
Yeah.
Right. I start to feel bad for Cersei.
Really?
Yeah.
I felt bad for Jamie after he got his fucking hand chopped off, and then they like are prodding at him like bullies, like schoolyard bullies, and they make him drink piss. And
do they tell you who's doing this to him?
It's Rob Stark's men.
They're part of Rob Stark's men,
Right.
yes. But okay, cool. You haven't really got into who they are yet, though. Or you don't remember.
Or I probably don't remember. I know the guys that captured them where they were going to bring him back to
They're
Rob
part of a
Stark.
different house.
Oh.
You'll see.
I felt bad. I felt bad for Jamie getting tortured, even though he is a bad guy. Another thing,
Even though he killed his own family member to get out of...
no, he fucks his sister.
And he fucks his sister.
And he killed his cousin to get out of the thing.
Right.
There's something fucking charming about that dude, though. Him and Brienne's relationship is very interesting. They're a little flirty. She even like
Brienne is teaching him honor.
Yeah, she tries to lift him up where he's like he breaks down after the hand, and she's like get over it. You sound like a bloody woman. It's like you are the Kingslayer.
Well, Jamie admires Brienne or learns to admire her because Brienne is so loyal to what her duty is supposed to be.
How great a character is she?
She's amazing.
Awesome.
She's fucking an amazing character.
She is one of the only characters in the show that you root for probably the entire time.
Yeah. But that's the great thing. If you could just make a story out of one character in this, you could take any of the characters and it'd be an interesting story. You could make a whole movie just about the one character.
They're so fleshed out. She's honorable. She does the right thing. We get to see her in a dress, which is kind of funny. She looked good in that dress. And
that dress.
Oh
yes, Anthony.
I like her better in the armor.
I kind of want them to bang because I feel this tension, this relationship.
Okay.
But maybe it's more brother and sister. Although we know how he feels about sisters, so
I don't think brother and sister for Jamie Lannister doesn't mean the same that it means to anyone else.
Open season.
Yes. I loved also. I love that part where Tywin is talking to the Tyrell grandmother. Because
they're trying to
make
both
a deal.
Devious motherfuckers.
They're so good because he wants Cersei to marry Loras, and he's like, "Your son is a sword swallower." She's like, "Oh, he's a sword swallower, but at least he doesn't fuck his sister." And he's like, "All right, look, I'll forget about that if you forget about the sister fucking, and we get this deal done." And then he like threatens her, and she does agree. That was great.
Yeah, Granny Tyrell is fucking nice.
Dude, all the Tyrells.
She's got great lines.
Marjorie Tyrell is super manipulative, and she's playing fucking Joffrey like a fiddle. It's awesome. I love how they're using Sansa Stark as a chess piece. I felt bad for her.
She's just got no agency whatsoever.
No, she's just being pushed around like, you marry him, now you marry him. Now what are you supposed to do? And fucking Littlefinger's fucking with her. And I loved... Oh, there's so many things. Okay, another guy I felt really bad for. Theon Greyjoy.
Where's Theon at?
So Theon was tortured and then released. Apparently, we thought it was sent by his sister, and he's taken out, and they're on their way to the sister, and he breaks down, and you feel really bad for him because he's like, I'm not a Stark, I'm not a Greyjoy, I'm nothing. And the guy brings him back all the way back around right to the same torture room.
Oh, shit. A sicker form of torture.
I was like, oh shit. And then there's two girls rubbing on him, and the whole time, first of all, his torture, I couldn't watch what he was doing to his finger. Like, that made me really uncomfortable.
Just flaying him.
Yes, I literally could not look at the screen. I had to look away. I was like, this is fucking painful.
See, that I watched.
Holy shit. And then They cut his
You
dick off.
sadomasochist.
They fucking cut.
I'm just kidding.
They castrate the poor guy after getting him hard.
Yeah.
And the whole time those girls were teasing him, I was like, this is not going to end well. This is very bad.
Now, do you see what I'm talking about? Where the guy that they cast for the InHumans, he's the bad guy. He's a fucking great bad guy.
That's Maximus, isn't it? Yeah.
It is Maximus.
Which I don't even know what his name is right now.
You don't know who he is.
You want him to die immediately.
Yes. That guy's a fucking prick.
He, in my opinion, now I'm further along than you, Imran, but this doesn't spoil that he is worse than Joffrey.
Oh my God.
Yeah. He is a sick, and apparently in the books, he's even a sicker motherfucker.
Jesus. So yeah, I'm not.
When you see like these actors that are capable of doing great things and they're in these milquetoast roles in some ABC show, it just
sucks.
makes you like,
Yeah.
Like, this guy's got more in him.
A lot of,
Theon is another great example of someone that you should probably hate, but now you're like, I don't know.
Nobody deserves deserves that kind of
when you're
torture.
dickless, like you got a little bit of sympathy.
Fucking emotional.
Did you get to the scene where he's with the sausage or no?
Not yet.
Okay. All right.
Here's another thing I loved. Wargs. A little bit of magic. A little bit of putting yourself in the power.
Who did he put himself into?
Well, the one wildling was in the bird, and that's when you hear him, and then you find out that Bran is a warg. You meet Jojen Reed. Still, he hasn't put himself into anything yet. He's having these dreams. He's trying to catch the Raven.
All right.
But
you see that the wildlings have a warg as well.
The wildlings also have a warg, and Jon Snow has some funny lines to that guy. Speaking of the wildlings,
what's Jon Snow up to?
Oh, Jon Snow, not a virgin anymore. Banged by the
he obviously knows something.
Yeah, he was. She really liked what he did with his tongue. What'd you do there? How'd you do that? He's like,
I thought Jon Snow didn't know shit.
You
he
know
knows
nothing,
something,
but he knows how to use his tongue. She's hot, dude. Ygritte, I like Ygritte. She's
like Ygritte?
She's sexy. I like her. I like how she's like, why would a woman? What's swooning? What's fainting? It's like when a woman sees blood and collapses. She's like, why would a woman see blood and collapse? Like she just doesn't get it. So good. They climb the wall, which is crazy. And now they're over the wall and they're heading south.
Yeah, so they're getting their. That's exactly it.
They're on their way to Castle Black.
They're not on their way to Castle Black. They're just trying to get over the wall and
all right,
they attack from the other side.
Yeah, so to come around and attack.
Yeah,
okay, so they climb the wall, which was that guy was making crazy faces climbing that wall. That was a pretty cool scene. Fucking, and then the thing breaks. Let's talk about Daenerys. I said it right. Thanks to Dalhauer.
Oh yeah, I remember that.
Why did you correct me, you asshole?
Yeah, you didn't correct us.
Well, listen,
man.
I don't correct you when you say Daenerys wrong, and I don't correct Anthony when he says Darkseid. I just don't. I just let people enjoy that.
We say a lot of things wrong. It's okay, but Daenerys Targaryen, looking for an army, buys 8,000 slaves called the Unsullied.
That's one of the best scenes in all of the show.
The way they slow played the fact that when the Valyrian king is just being so abusive to her and talking shit, and the translator is kind of softening it. And I'm like, I just wanted to turn around and speak Valyrian. Come on, give it to me. 3 episodes, they do that, and finally at the end, and she gives him a dragon. I'm like, what the fuck? What are you doing? Of course, she knows exactly what she's doing. She's badass. She does speak Valyrian. Fucking burns the motherfucker with one word to the dragon and frees the slaves, and they still want to fight. So while she's building this army, she's also freeing slaves because she knows what it's like to be a slave.
That scene when she turns around and starts speaking Valyrian,
so great. Oh my god!
I've watched that scene probably at least 10 times.
What does she say? Dragons aren't pets.
She goes, dragons aren't pets like slaves, and she's speaking in full Valyrian. She's like, I'm Daenerys Targaryen of House of Daenerys Stormborn, House of Targaryen. My mother speaks Valyrian, or I have the Valyrian
it's her
tongue.
mother's tongue. Yeah. And then
yeah.
she's like, Dracarius. And he fucking torches the guy. And then she frees those other slaves. She got another 200,000 from that other place. Where's
she
How do you like them dragons, though?
The dragons are looking better. They're getting bigger. They're pretty awesome. They're by her side.
They still have not reached their potential.
I bet they haven't. They just.
I'm talking about even in production value.
Oh wow! It definitely looks better. Yeah, she tells that other guy. She's like, "You're gonna free all the slaves, and here's my gift to you. I'm gonna let you live. Get the fuck out of here." She's back.
Which city was that?
That was Yupkai or something.
Oh, Yunkai.
Yunkai.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I know where you're at now. Okay.
So does she? So I don't know if she has those slaves as her army.
She doesn't have Yunkai yet.
Okay.
I think
She's got 8,000, and those scenes are great where they're all lined up. And
she's got the Unsullied, man. The Unsullied are some of the best warriors.
Dude, you know what was great that episode? Episode 6 called The Climb, the one where they're climbing the wall, but also the analogy that Littlefinger makes to chaos. And
it's a ladder.
Yes, he says chaos is not a pit, it's a ladder you have to climb. And you see how he was trying to get married to Lord Aaron to be a lord because they were like, he has wealth and land, he just needs an army. But he's got all these things.
just wants power, man.
I hate the way he talks now. The more I see it, like he talks like a snake.
Sansa Stark.
It's so creepy. It's sleazy.
Chaos is a ladder.
Meanwhile, Arya is hanging out.
Where's she at?
She's hanging out with the Brotherhood.
Okay.
The last thing that happened is she ran off and the Hound grabbed her. And that was
nice.
That was the last I saw. But that flaming sword battle with the Hound and the flaming sword, and that guy's been brought back to life 6 times.
Yeah,
that was pretty bad. That was pretty badass.
That's the reason the Hound lives.
Yeah, because he didn't kill him. But then the guy's like, it takes a little bit out of me every time.
So did the Hound? Did he like take Arya? Or is it at this point?
Oh yeah, she was running off, and he grabbed her from he just steps out of the woods and grabs her.
Okay,
and that's all I saw.
The Hound and Arya stuff is some of my favorite stuff I've seen.
I really hope that because she hates him, she wants to kill him, but I feel
he's on the list.
Yeah, he's on the list, but I feel like they're very similar people, and they're gonna be friendly. They're gonna be friends.
You may or may not be reading that correctly.
Really?
I'm just fucking with you. You'll see.
Oh, that's
some of the best stuff.
I have a theory that she's gonna kill him.
I know. I kind of want them to be friends because I think he cares for her a little bit in a weird way. Okay, the craziest shit that...
Yeah, but that's not justice. That's not poetic justice.
No, because he did kill a bunch of people.
He also killed the Butcher's Boy.
And the Butcher's Boy, which is why she's
Arya's friend.
Yeah, she's like, he's a murderer. I saw him. And she was pissed that...
There's more to the Hound than... Well, you're already noticing.
Yes.
There's more to the Hound than just being a fucking murderer.
The old Bernie face, he's got a soft side. He's got a heart. There's something there.
Get on with it.
There's something there. The craziest thing in the Wildlings, when the fucking mutiny of the crows and they kill Castor and they kill Mormont, and the shit just hits the fan because they're cold and they're hungry and Castor isn't giving them any food. That was nuts. I did not see that coming. I was like, holy shit.
Oh, shit.
And then Samuel grabs Gilly because she's had a boy and they fucking book. He's like, we're going to get the fuck out of here. And they're kind of hanging out in the woods. But what's going to happen? What happens to them? That's nuts. I did not think Castor was asking for it.
I know you asked me. I'll just throw in that what happens after that is there's some disturbing shit that's going to happen.
More disturbing. Oh, boy. Yeah. Oh, speaking of disturbing, Littlefinger talking to Varys and figuring out that Roz was spying on him.
Yeah.
And like we said, we always thought Roz was hot. And he's like, luckily I had a friend who wanted to try new things. And so and he offered to take her. And you see fucking Joffrey's using her as target practice.
Oh, shit.
Oh, my God. She's got several arrows in her.
She got a brutal death.
They
don't show it, but they show the arrow. There's one in her heart, arm, leg.
Like going all the way up and down.
There's also one in her vagina.
Oh, shit. I did not notice that. He is a little fucking Joffrey, dude. What a fucking little perverted, twisted fuck.
Yeah, I was sad to see Roz go.
Yeah, I was sad
That actually disappointed me because Roz was going to be... It seemed like they were building her up for more, and then they just fucking killed her off screen.
Exactly.
I hate that. I didn't like that.
I did not like that.
Oh.
Every time you like someone...
Yes.
That's it.
I did.
Remember at the end, she was like giving news and she was like, I'm going to start taking control of my life, basically.
Yeah, she's like, I'm not in that business anymore. She was looking out for Sansa Stark. She told Shay, that was also another great moment where Tyrion has to tell Sansa that he has to marry her with Shay fucking standing right next to her. I was like,
that's great.
That's awkward. That's going to be awkward.
And Sansa's supposed to be like 15.
Oh my
and Tyrion's
God.
like in his 40s.
She's like, he's gonna put a baby in me. I don't know what to do.
Tywin's last chance at continuing the direct Lannister line.
Yeah, they need a male.
They need a male Lannister.
What about well, Jaime's fucking his
Jaime. Well, they don't know what's up with Jaime.
That's
right
true.
Now.
They probably think he's dead. That's right.
And Jaime's part of the King's Guard.
Oh, that's right.
Guard,
He's celibate. Yes, you can't do anything. That's a good point. So it's up to Tyrion too.
It's up to that little fuck,
a boy
little
Lannister,
to fucking continue the Lannister line. How pissed off is
Tywin?
Tywin?
He has a bunch of kids. He doesn't even know.
He probably does.
They're all bastards,
Yeah.
though.
But like Bronn was telling him, he's like, it's fine. You can you wet her, put a baby in her, and you hang out with Shay on the other side. That's good. Like that's what everybody does.
What do you think of Bronn?
I love Bronn. Bron's great. I love where
Yeah.
he's like, I'm a knight. You got to pay me double. And the guy's like, I don't make any more money, so I don't know what you want from me.
Yeah, he's a great character too. There's so many great fucking characters.
How about this? This was hilarious.
Where's Rob at?
Oh,
Before you get
Rob.
him.
Okay, so Rob has figured out that he figured out a plan, but he needs the help of the Freys. So he goes to see the Freys and promises another dude to marry their daughter.
Yeah, the Frey children come in, right? And
Yes,
the two sons.
The two sons, because I guess their dad is like really sick,
Yeah.
and he's like, "This is fine," but and the guy doesn't want to marry her. He's like, "At least, like, can I get to see her at least?"
So he promises his uncle, I believe,
yes.
which is one of the Tullys.
Yes, it's a Tully, and they're like, he wanted a king, but they're going to have to settle for that. But then Talisa, a great scene with Talisa naked, then just hanging out, and she's just writing a letter. Like, it was really sweet, and she tells him that she's pregnant.
Oh, shit.
She got a baby in her. So
Yeah. Young wolf has created another wolf.
The young wolf has created another wolf. So that's
booyah.
If that baby actually gets born, I'm highly doubtful probably in this fucking world. Jesus. I don't expect her. Maybe she'll be, I don't know. She could be dead next episode. I don't know.
What were you going to say? What else is going on?
The funniest thing, Tyrion's little squire, Podrick. Apparently, he's a sexual stud.
He's so good.
The prostitutes gave the money back. They wouldn't tell him what he did. They're like, we don't want this money. He was that good. And everyone's like, what the fuck did he do? You got to make him tell you.
Podrick's great.
Fucking Podrick. It's amazing. I love that scene the first time, and he gives him 3. Tyrion gives him 3 to play with.
He gives him 3, and then he walks on, doesn't have to pay.
No, and he brings the money back. He's like, no, they didn't want
a
it.
Strong pimp hand.
It is a strong pimp hand. The Podrick's great. I like Podrick.
You are on the. I mean, you said episode 7.
Yeah, so I got 3
You
left.
are on the cusp.
Oh, man.
of dying.
I got. Oh my God! They're just.
You were going to be shitting your pants.
They're just setting all this up. They're setting me up for a big fucking thing. I can't wait.
There's gonna be so much strife in your future.
I can't wait. No, bring it. I'm ready. There's the Game of Thrones season 3, 3/4 of season 3.
So where do you rate this this installment?
Fuck, it gets better. It gets better every time, and it's really hard to rate this because it's everything is so tight together, and you have to take the whole journey for this shit to be this impactful. There's more sexy time so far this season. I like that, but there's a lot of uncomfortable things that literally I feel lightheaded and physically uncomfortable watching. Not the gay stuff. The fucking torture
that
stuff.
You love.
That shit I'll rewind and I'll fucking play it in 2 times. Let's watch. Wait, I missed that.
I'll admit the scene where Theon's getting not only his finger cut off, but then them implying that them walking up to him to cut off his dick.
I was really hoping they weren't actually going to show that. I was like, I'm about to faint right now, and they cut away and it went out of focus. I was like, thank fucking God, that's enough. You don't need to show me. I have the mental image. Wow. So poor Theon. Yeah. And I love feeling sorry for these characters. I'm really confused as to who's the good guy and who's the bad guy a little bit.
Could you go back to watching The Flash after this?
It's going to be very hard. It's going to be very, very, even though.
See, that's why, I've been watching Game of Thrones this whole time.
Yeah.
So when you're I'm trying to watch these WB shows and all this shit,
I feel like even the Walking Dead is trying to be like Game of Thrones at times because there's been a couple of really gross out scenes, but they can't hit it. They maybe did for like a second, and then they just can't.
Yeah, but Walking Dead has let you down.
Yes.
It has. It has done it
it's
like a multitude of times.
Yeah.
This Game of Thrones has not done it at this point in time.
But also, what's not fair is how much money they spend on these episodes, because I got an article here for the final season of the Game of Thrones, season 8.
8, yes.
They are going to be spending reportedly $15 million per episode.
That was more than I thought. I thought it was like $10 million.
$10 million was what it used to be, but like you guys said, they just keep throwing money at this show. $15 million per episode for its final season, and they know how to spend money.
Well, listen, you remember the beginning of Game of Thrones, you never even saw a battle.
Yeah.
Nope.
They just mentioned them in passing. And then all of a sudden you start seeing battles. Then as you get to where Anthony's at, you see battles and they're on like a movie scale battle.
Yeah.
And as far as the dragons, they have to keep, making those better. And the effects for that better.
I'll let me jump in.
Yeah.
It's watching Game of Thrones makes it tough for me to want to ever go back to something on the CW.
Yeah. I get it now. I get it. It makes all TV hard. And we talked about, plus the locations. We talked about where do they film this show. This article from Mashable has a little bit of information. They say the first season primarily filmed in Belfast, Northern Ireland. On sets there, and then in Malta for the warm exteriors. Season 2, they expanded to include Croatia and Iceland. Season 3 added Morocco for the scenes in Slavers Bay. And by season 3, it was normal for the show to film simultaneously in 4 countries at once.
Oh, shit.
You're just hitting you haven't even gone to Dorne, baby.
Dude, but like this show is filming this is a TV show filming in 4 fucking countries at once. It's crazy. So these locations are fantastic. The sets are unbelievable. That they're built on site at these places.
I would prefer if they just reused New York as China.
Why don't we just that dock looks like Beijing. Just set up the cameras over there.
I mean, can you really can you stomach it after you see what they do art wise on this show?
Yeah.
No.
And they're never going to be a comic book show that's done to this level. Game of Thrones,
unbelievable.
It's just, it may never happen again.
So
it may never happen.
A couple of comparison numbers. They said FX Legion costs about $4 million an episode. Westworld's budget was $10 million an episode. Game of Thrones season 1 around $6 million an episode. So they've more than doubled the money they're fucking putting in the show, and it's of course it's paying off.
Westworld could be the next show.
I have a feeling that's what they want.
But you're talking about Imran. You're talking about fucking 7 seasons of Game of Thrones versus 1 season of Westworld that was good. Yeah.
But they got a lot.
Who knows if they can continue it? You know.
I just can't believe that Rug Boy's been watching all these shows while watching Game of Thrones.
I know,
He could still keep up and watch shit like Legends of Tomorrow.
Good shit. I know. I can't. It's just it ruins all the TV. But look, listen. I'm at the precipice of something big in the show. So next week, hopefully, I'll have gotten to.
I can't wait till you get to what I really want to talk about.
Yes.
Season 3. So
I'm trying to power through it. It's just finding time to watch all the shit. And now there's all the shit on TV. Let's get to some feedback and we will wrap it up here. We got an email from somebody new, a listener who's never written in before. Remember 2 episodes back, we talked about the It box office, and I just threw out there, if you see the movie, write in, let us know what you think. This dude, Dale Steinhofel. This guy's never written in before. Hi, Dale. Thanks for writing in. He writes, my bandmates and I saw It Thursday, September 7th at the Alamo Draft House in Omaha, Nebraska. My thoughts on the movie, I thought it was absolutely fantastic. From Pennywise, the Losers Club, the adults, the overall atmosphere of the movie worked. All worked so well together. The kids, all of them played off each other so well. I think people really enjoy the kids' interaction so much because they can really see themselves as one of the characters. Pennywise was extremely creepy. All of his little tics and quirks really brought him to life. I'm not going to go into any spoilers, but when you're watching the movie, make sure you pay attention to as much as you can. There are some things I did not catch that I really wish I had seen. I know a lot of people are saying that it's not that scary, and I think that's where the marketing had failed partially. It's not super scary, but it is extremely intense. My hair stood up quite a few times, and it was really funny. The best explanation I can offer is that this is not an extremely scary movie, but here's why. This is a movie about their fears, not a movie to fear. It's a lot more psychological than people think. Long story short, it was good. Later, Dale S. Thanks for writing in.
I got to say, Dale S., first time writing in. Very well-written email.
This guy can put sentences together and shit. Yeah. That's very good. There's paragraphs, proper punctuation.
Very good.
Well done. You get an A+. We have an email from Joe Henry. Some comments from our last episode.
The guy with vitiligo on his dick.
Yes, that is correct. Joe Henry has vitiligo on his dick. Wait, did we talk about that in the main show?
Was that a post-show thing? Who cares? I just
it doesn't matter. It's out there now. Sorry, Joe. Joe writes in, Imran, please have Delhauer.
We just lost our donation from
I
Joe
think
Henry.
I just heard him undo his Patreon. Super patron Joe Henry. Please have Delhauer do The Dark Knight Rises. Even though I enjoyed the movie, there are so many things wrong with that film, including timeline inconsistencies. I was the one who suggested it in my first email to the show, actually. Dalhauer needs to make this happen. But tell that ginger to shut up next time he corrects you on how to say Daenerys. It's your show, and you can pronounce the mother of dragon's name however you want. Just joking, Matt's cool. I was wondering how long it will be before someone corrected you. Thanks again for making my drive to work enjoyable on a Monday. Joe Henry, old vitiligo dick Joe Henry. That was in the post show. If you want to hear the story, sign up for the post show. And then Adam Morris loved it. He says, sweet episode of What the Fuck Happened. Such a bizarre flick, and appreciate the shout outs. And I'll put this article. He linked us to an article about a human echolocator, a blind dude who like clicks and can find his way around with the clicks and listening to it. And scientists have studied it. They've tried to replicate it for a breakthrough in echolocation. So
it's a lot of feedback.
Before anyone leaves the show, I just want to, we already kind of mentioned him, but quick shout out to Hugh Hefner, Illinois grad, same school I went to.
What are your feelings on Hugh Hefner?
Playboy, baby. The dude's a pimp, man. He's a don. He's the fucking dude was living. Dude didn't even need to die to go to heaven. He was fucking living the
Is
best
that the life you'd want, Anthony? If you could trade,
oh my gosh.
I feel like that he was a complicated man, and his magazine represents, unfortunately, gets just talked about because there's naked chicks in it, but it's way more than that. His magazine had a lot of social commentary, and he was a leftist. He was a very progressive dude, and he was into the civil rights movement and everything like that.
Well, here's a couple of things he did. He loved comic books. He wanted to be a comic book artist. You would get the best page rate if you got your cartoon published in Playboy. And for a long time, that was an honor. That was prestige to have an illustration or cartoon published in Playboy. Harvey Kurtzman, who started Mad Magazine, worked there. He got Milt Caniff to draw for him, who was like the father of the comic strip.
Was a big guy.
Kent Williams.
From Wolverine Havoc Meltdown.
A lot of great illustrators and cartoonists. They loved the medium and supported it and paid him incredible page rates. Also, we never would have got Alex Haley's Malcolm X autobiography if it wasn't for the interviews in Playboy. Alex Haley interviewed Miles Davis, Malcolm X, and they ran these in Playboy magazine, which was very progressive in fucking 63 for them to do. So,
lived a good life.
Hey, man. How old was he? 90 something?
91. Yeah, that's a full life.
But he died at 69. Shit. There was another joke that was made too. They were like, Hugh Hefner dead. Evidence supports foreplay instead of foul play.
The heaven thing was a joke because it was like, where does Hugh Hefner go if he's been living in heaven his entire life?
The grotto in the sky.
Right.
Anyways,
heaven's got to be way more boring.
There's
compared to what Hef's done. You think he was fucking all them girls?
I think he fucked a lot of them
at his age.
I don't know.
At his age,
you think? How strong is?
Yeah, but
Cialis?
There's Viagra.
It's pretty fucking strong,
and he could probably afford. Yeah. He could afford the top shelf stuff. Probably.
He probably had just a room full of.
He could probably afford that shit you just inject straight into your penis.
You want to know what the thing that was really confusing for me is? Like back in 2015. Yeah. They took away the nudity out of Playboy.
Yes. It was last year, 2016. And they also, when they did that, they stopped printing cartoons. They put a ban on cartoons. Now, his son runs Playboy, and he's actually overturned the ban on the nudity. But they still are not printing the comics.
Do you think in this, new kind of world where everybody's like sensitive about things, do you think there's a place for a magazine with nudity in it? I mean, in England and in Italy and Europe, it's not even a fucking big deal, but we're still like very Puritan about it, and very reserved and high strung about sexuality.
We're very repressed.
Do you think that if we start, that there's a place for something like this anymore, or is this Hefner is like he's gone the way of the dodo?
Well, if you're super left, you should be okay with it, I would assume. Although you would probably argue that there should be male dick flying around
also,
as well.
Yeah,
it'd have to be both, right?
So if you have a magazine, it has to have equal opportunity nudity. You can't just have any kind of
or you'd have to have a magazine that publishes one for girls and one for guys. But then that might be
exists.
There was Playgirl.
That's true. I don't know. I have no idea.
And like Larry Trump was like his magazine, or Larry Flint, his magazine was dirtier, and I think that's still around. I think Hustler.
There's way dirtier magazine.
Way dirtier.
Hustlers and Playboy's always been like the artsy, the classy way to get
tasteful, but yeah. I mean, you got to but you also got to think how many of those Playboy bunnies were their lives enriched later on, or did it?
How many
afterwards
people in the world do you think Playboy's given their first orgasm to?
Oh, probably a lot.
Billion?
Do you have? Okay, let me ask you a question that's different.
Millions, obviously.
All right, now both of you, have you ever purchased a Playboy magazine?
I have not.
Oh, like bought? I think I bought one because I forget why. It was like a special edition.
The minute I turned 18, as like a rite of passage.
Yes, I could buy
Not because I wanted to see naked chicks, because at that point I already been spoiled. But like, I just did it as like I'm 18 years old. I could buy a pack of cigarettes and I could buy a Playboy magazine. So let's do it.
What we would do is when we were like in 8th grade, we would go to the store, the convenience store, and we would just pull the magazine out and start flipping through it until the cashier yelled at us, and then we'd run out.
Yes, that's back in the day where you were before the internet, where you could just
right.
Google boobs and then like be inundated with
look at it on my phone
with billions of different boobs.
Yeah,
it's just Yeah, that's a weird.
I either had to wait till I could get home. I really wouldn't even go on the computer all that much to look at them. I'd either go to the store, or I'd wait till like 11:30 at night and turn on Cinemax and watch a little Skinemax.
You know what's funny is they didn't know how big the internet was going to be, and they for a long time somebody else had bought Playboy.com, and they couldn't get it because the guy wanted like shit tons of money. But I think eventually they did acquire it.
Yeah, I think that really like Playboy status went down in the toilets after the internet's like took over.
Oh yeah, it was dead. It was dead on the water because you didn't need a print magazine.
It probably went down in terms of like fapping.
Yeah.
But I think it always maintained its classiness in that it never showed like bush or like it showed bush, but not as like
not insertion
extravagant.
Yes.
Yeah. Or it was always that it was still had an air of dignity to it.
And they did have good articles and like prominent writers.
Did they?
Right? Yeah, dude.
I'm sure
Alex Haley wrote Roots.
I just wish one day I could party in the mansion. Probably will never happen, but
I wonder what's going to happen to his property and everything now.
Oh, they're gonna come out women are gonna come out the woodwork for that. There's gonna be blood in the water.
Yeah.
All these people are gonna claim he's had like a bunch of wives, first of all.
He did have a lot of wives.
He had a bunch of kids.
He's like Robert Baratheon. Where are all the Hefner bastards coming out of the woodwork?
It's gonna be the Game of
Kill all the bastards. I must rule the Hefner mansion.
It's like his fucking son fucked his wife.
And didn't know it.
It's a bastard child, yeah.
Okay, on that awkward note, we're going to end the show. Ruggs, where can the people find you?
You can find me on Twitter at ReallyRugBoy.
And
come see me.
You can see his picture in the Twitter. Listen, subscribe to the show, whatever podcast app you want, but definitely give us a review and a rating on Apple Podcasts. You could do it in the new app if you've updated to iOS 11. You can leave a review right there from the Apple Podcast page. And, of course, tell a friend, spread the geekery. Thanks for listening to the Jock and Nerd Podcast. My name is Imran.
My name's Anthony.
He's the Jock.
He's a nerd.
We'll catch you next time.
I beat you. I beat you to it.
I got your hand off my penis.
That's what Theon was saying.
Game of Thrones is heavy.
Oh my God.